Warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 7 o'clock. Welcome to a morning without Mike Winters. I ain't he. That wouldn't be me. No, Mike Winters he's out. He's ill in just a bit today. He'll be back inside your radios tomorrow morning, hopefully barring any kind of viral infection. And little programming note, because things got kind of flipped around a little bit. We might not have the intros set up as we normally do on this here Thursday morning, but you got Sean Smalls all by my lonesome inside your radios on this here Thursday morning. Hopefully yours off to a relatively decent start. I'll be honest with you. I didn't know I was going to be here until about 15 minutes ago. We got text messages that Mike wasn't feeling well. He was coming in. Wasn't going to be coming in. We thought we were going to rerun Hugh Hewitt, and the decision was made that we would much rather have something live on the radio, and so we're going to going to come at you on this Thursday morning. Hopefully my video guy will be in here in just a few minutes as well, because right now it's literally just me inside of the studio. I'm like that dude. If you ever watched the video of the guy who like spins the plates, I'm like that guy. I'm running to one end of the stage, I'm spinning one plate, running to the other end, I'm spinning another plate. We're going to make this work, folks. It is a Thursday morning, and by God, we are getting up and at 'em, and hopefully you're doing the same as well. Happy Thursday to you. Let me give you the rundown for what we've got for you on tap for today's show. No guests, so we're going to be replaying a few interviews, getting you informed on all the need-to-know info around our area. Coming up here at about 7:15 or so, we'll be chatting with John LeMay from the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico, or we'll rerun the interview that Mike had with Mr. John LeMay from the Historical Society, talking up his new book and talking up Sunday Fun Day. That's going to be happening at the Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. More on that coming up in here in just a few minutes at about 7:15 or so. Coming up around 8:15, got Miss Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. That was an interview that happened yesterday in the 7 o'clock hour. Mixmaster Mike sat down and chatted with Miss Andrea, so we'll chat with Miss Andrea, or we'll rerun that interview and hear what Miss Andrea had to say. And coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, around 9:15 or so, we'll have Don Weld, Steve Smith with Friends of the Bitter Lakes National Wildlife Refuge. They were in chatting with Mike, and we'll rerun that interview and get you informed on all the need-to-know info. Plus all your other hourly features, which this hour include your Pecos Valley news, your stock or your local news, and any other stuff that happens to cross our desk here at 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Normally, I would be so much more prepared filling in for Mike, but it literally just got dropped in my lap that we were going to be doing this thing called live morning radio. So, you know what? We'll go on this adventure together. Let's have a little fun with it on this here Thursday morning. Hopefully yours off to a better start than mine. With that in mind, at 9 minutes after 7 o'clock, let's get you up to date with the weather.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 22 degrees round Roswell Way. I always have to blow it up just a little bit on this side of the screen, because even though Mike wears glasses, he's not nearly as blind as I am, so I have to zoom in. Currently 22 degrees round Roswell Way, humidity at 89%, winds out of the northwest at around 3 miles an hour, the barometer at 30.22 inches with a dew point of 19 degrees. We're looking at 57 degrees and mostly sunny skies for your Thursday. Finally warming up just a little bit, because the last couple of days have been absolutely chilly. This is the warm-up day that we've been waiting for, and it's sort of the catalyst to turn things on its ear, because as soon as we're done with today, we're smooth sailing into 60s and 70s for your weekend. Remember, It was like a high of 35 2 days ago. We're in the 70s by Sunday. Just bear that in mind. Looking at a low of 26 for the overnight low tonight. It's going to be clear, though. Winds at around 5 miles an hour, clearing up to no miles an hour later on in the evening. For your Friday, sunny skies, a high of around 60. Winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles an hour. Partly cloudy and 29 for your Friday night as we head on into the weekend. But bear in mind, it's going to be nice this weekend. Sunny and 64. That's practically board shorts weather. For your Saturday, sunny and 71 degrees for the high on Monday. 71 for on Sunday and Monday as well. Then we drop back down to 53 degrees with another chance for some showers, thunderstorms, and some more nastiness coming up in the middle of next week. But for the weekend at the very least, sounds like it's going to be sunshine and beauty. So get out there and soak up a little of that sunshine for yourself. 12 minutes after 7 o'clock. Hey, by the way, we're going to be out broadcasting live this Saturday at the grand opening of Calici's up there on North Main. It's in the location of the old Classics Frozen Custard, and we have got a day full of all sorts of good stuff, giveaways, and, just happiness happening at Calici's. First of all, 50% off the whole menu the whole day, and 50-cent hot dogs the whole day from 11 a.m. till 10 p.m. We'll be out broadcasting live from 11 to 2 alongside our sister station, Fiero 106.1 FM, and we'll be out there doing some giveaways, getting you hooked up with some great prizes, and letting you hang out with Mr. Scoopy, take a picture with him, let the kids burn off some energy in the bounce house, all that good stuff, and so much more. We're going to be out there broadcasting live 11 to 2 alongside Fiero 106.1 FM. It's 92.9 The Brand. So come on out and join us for the grand opening of Calici's Frozen Custard on North Main right here in Roswell. It's going down this Saturday. We want to see you out there as we broadcast live. All right, going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after the break, got John LeMay, Historical Society for Southeastern New Mexico. We'll be replaying that interview next on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
In New Mexico, the leading cause of death is heart disease, but it is preventable. This Heart Health Month, celebrate with Artesia General Hospital at a special presentation from the cardiology specialist at Advanced Heart and Vascular Center of New Mexico. They'll be joined by special guest Sherry Wells, Executive Director of the American Heart Association. Join us on Thursday, February 16th at 5:30 p.m. in the Green Chili Cafe. For more information, please visit Artesia General Hospital's Facebook page. One beat at a time, we're here for every heart.
Edge Safety and Services LLC in Artesia, New Mexico has an immediate opening for a safety technician. Position requires a clean driving record and must be able to pass a drug and alcohol screen. Edge Safety offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contribution towards health benefits. Please email resumes to edgecoding@yahoo.com or apply in person at 402 West Main Street inside the Edge Safety and Services facility. Edge Safety and Services LLC is an equal opportunity employer.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist, and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
So you think drinking alcohol can't hurt you? It'll mess you up big time. Say adios to large chunks of your brain. Major damage is already being done. Other parts of your body are getting wrecked too. Forget about sports, forget about school, forget about doing much of anything. Underage drinking freaks out your body, messes up your life.
Sponsored by the NMDOT. Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Sorello. A Carlsbad man who was shot in a confrontation with sheriff's deputies after officers reported seeing the man swinging a sledgehammer continues recovering. The ordeal in the 2000 block of Mora Street on Sunday, where 29-year-old Christopher Bell was arrested. His injuries determined to be non-life-threatening, but police did not say whether he was actually shot by the officer's gunfire. Authorities said Bell has outstanding warrants and had barricaded himself inside the home. A short standoff ensued before the officers breached the front door and tasered the man. A Florida businessman and social media personality has purchased the 1962 Lockheed Jetstar that once belonged to Elvis Presley. James Webb says he plans to move the airplane out of Roswell to Florida. Webb operates a YouTube channel called Jimmy's World. His business focuses on rehabilitating old, often abandoned airplanes, even making some of them airworthy again. Elvis's former airplane has been parked at the Roswell Air Center for more than 20 years, but now it will be dismantled and moved by mid-February, Webb said. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
And good morning. It is 24 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio, John LeMay is back with us with the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico. Morning, John.
Morning, Mike. Is the camera not working today?
Oh, no, it's on. It's just not this TV. Everything's normal in the video.
Okay.
It's just we replaced the computer that they do it with another one, and for some reason the TV in here, they don't like to talk to each other, so sometimes it comes up there, sometimes it just blanks. But no, it's out. It's just our monitor in here doesn't seem to want to work.
I thought I put my makeup on and my hairpiece.
No, they're seeing your smiling face. We can't see it in here. Okay. So call it a blessing. But it'll pop up eventually. Sometimes you look up there and there it is. So, But of course, for folks that are not familiar, John LeMay, he's part of the Historical Society and everything, but also a local author, writes many books, particularly. Most of it's on local history and the lore of Southeast New Mexico. Sometimes he branches off into other genres, but it kind of sticks to that area for the most part here. So, first off, how you doing, John?
I'm doing good. I've got two books here with me today, and one of them I didn't actually write. I just helped with it.
You just kind of helped with the research and
no, nothing like that.
Okay.
So I have a friend in Texas named Joshua Slatton. He's head of the Billy the Kid Historical Coalition.
Okay.
And so they come out here every once in a while and do some cool stuff. And but anyways, he had the idea to finally combine Billy the Kid with aliens.
Yes.
And he did it via a children's picture book illustrated by Angie Hinosa.
It's a cool looking book, and it's very. I love the back cover too.
I assume the camera's getting it because, like I said, I can't see myself, but I'll guess.
I can see it from here.
Okay. Cool.
And show them the back cover too, because I love the Zia symbol in it and the Billy. That's a cool little back with the alien. That's cool too.
So it's beautiful. It's like all color, glossy pages, easy for kids. It's a kid's book.
Yes.
It's easy to understand.
Even I can read it.
Yeah. And so it just basically tells Billy the Kid's escape from the courthouse as though this crashed alien helped him. Yeah, and then in the back of the book,
obviously it's a work of fiction.
Oh yeah, totally fiction. But in the back of the book, Josh put these little footnotes.
Okay,
so it kind of teaches kids how to research in a book.
So it gives them a little bit of historical references, and so like when you're doing story time with your kid at night, and you could say, "Hey, come here," when they get a little more mature enough to understand some of that, you say, "Hey, you want to learn some more about Billy the Kid? Let's look at some of these things in the back here and see if we can." Check these things out.
Yeah, so they're optional. It's not like you have to read them, but they're there if you're interested.
Absolutely, so and I imagine that's the adults, because I imagine the kids, if they're reading the book to them and they're saying, they get into Billy the Kid, and after they put the kids to bed, they may be on the internet researching some of those links and doing their own little just discovery on this stuff.
Yeah, and so the Historical Museum right now is one of the only places in town where you can get it.
Okay.
The other places haven't ordered it yet. I'm sure others will. But
if you want them now, we got them at the Historical Society.
Yeah. And so I just they gave me the words and the pictures, and then I just laid them out for them.
Okay. And what's the gentleman's author's name?
Joshua Slatton.
Okay. And is he a Billy the Kid historian by trade, and he wrote his first book, or does he write other books too?
He's a cop, actually.
Okay, so his day job is a cop. I gotcha.
Yeah.
Who has a pastime or a passion for Billy the Kid history and researching it. So is the book part the new part for him, and is writing a book and all that, or is that something he had experience with?
I think this is his first He writes nice scholarly articles. Like he's been published in Wild West or Old West. Not True West, but it was
so he
Old
comes
West,
from more of a historian angle than a novelist.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Makes sense. Okay, so now he finally said, you know what, I'm going to venture this off into the novel world a little bit. And obviously starting, doing a kid's book, because I imagine that's easy and hard. Because, it's got to be easier than writing a 200 or 300 page book or anything, but you also have to realize you're writing to an audience that's at a children. So when you're an adult, you sometimes forget, all right, where's that line? Did I cross the line of over their head, or is it too simple? Like I don't want to, write it like it's to kindergartners and third graders are going, this book's simple. I want something little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I imagine there's a lot of intricacies in writing a children's book too.
I've never done that, so I can't even imagine.
I was just thinking, because I think off the surface people think, I'll write a kid's book, that'd be easier, and I'm like, well, is it though? I mean, you gotta really rely on the artwork and all that stuff for that. So
I think with a kid's book, I would probably overthink it because it is so simple.
Yeah.
So that would probably be the challenge.
Yeah, he was like, I got a kid's book. Oh, it's 200 pages.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go finish this one in one story at a time. But so I'm curious. It's basically Billy the Kid in a relationship with an alien that he runs into, and I don't want to ruin the story, but then story goes from there.
Yeah, alien crashes. Billy the Kid befriends them. Billy gets captured. Alien helps them escape from the courthouse.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Oh, so it ties in real history with.
Yeah. So they have the story that Billy the Kid found a gun in the outhouse, and this one it's a ray gun in the outhouse.
Interesting. Yeah. So they're saying he had help, but this time wasn't of this earth.
Oh, nice. And it has, not that you have to have Roswell in it, but Roswell is alluded to on the last page because it's like the same alien. Billy helps him get back to a ship. He flies away, but then the alien comes back in 1947 and crashes, and that's how the book ends.
Oh, okay. Full circle moment.
Yeah.
And, depending on who you talk to in other Billy the Kid circles, he might have been around in 47 for the crash.
Yeah.
Which I imagine goes probably into more your book a little bit.
Yeah, and I have so I wrote another novel. It's my second novel called Once Upon a Time in Fort Sumner.
Yes.
And you don't need to have read the other novel I wrote. They're connected, but they're not.
It might give you a little bit of backstory in this one if you happen to read the first one. Okay.
So tonally and stylistically, they're totally different. The first book has a 14-year-old protagonist. It's told first person. This book, Once Upon a Time in Fort Sumner, is in the third-person narrative.
Okay.
And it's basically in the style of Tony Hillerman. That's what I was aiming for.
Okay.
Yeah. So
very fly-on-the-wall style, or
and very descriptive of the New Mexico landscape. Because Hillerman, for anybody that doesn't know, is probably New Mexico's most famous author that actually wrote about New Mexico. And his series was the Joe Leaphorn, Jim Chee murder mysteries.
Okay.
They're like the Navajo tribal police, and they always investigate murders and crimes that involve Navajo witchcraft.
Okay.
And so they got very popular because more educated people like to read those books because they felt they would learn as they read.
And I imagine they probably create pretty good mysteries in and of themselves with the Navajo angle and all those.
And I always really enjoyed those when I was younger, and I kind of thought, well, I'm not stupid. I get why Tony Hillerman never set a novel down in our portion of the state because we don't really have Navajo here.
No, we have Apache.
Yeah. So my angle was, let's do the Hillerman style, but with a murder mystery that involves kind of the Apache and the Navajo tied into Fort Sumner with the Long Walk, Bosque Redondo, and all that.
So it's kind of just taking that and putting the southern spin on it a little bit and make it a southern flavor and integrate more than likely the types of people you would run across on this end of the state during that time period.
Basically, it's all the victims that get murdered have a connection. So it's set in 1950.
Okay.
All the victims have a connection to Billy the Kid, but the way in which they're murdered, the way in which they're killed and murdered always ties into like Apache or Navajo witchcraft.
Okay. Now, are these all works of fiction as well, too, here?
The
or
murders
are they kind of...
So, yeah.
But some of these get into, like, legend and lore, where it's, you might believe it, you might not, depending on who tells you the story.
So the truth of this book is that in 1950 is when Brushy Bill Roberts came to New Mexico, and he met with the governor in Santa Fe at the governor's palace and all that. So I have that in the book.
And if you've watched Young Guns 2, he is at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
So
see, people really, they either love Brushy Bill or hate Brushy Bill.
I talked to you about this before.
Yeah.
I remember about 3-4 years ago watching a documentary, and I think it was National Geographic, or I don't remember which entity was put it together, and they basically took the whole Bushy Bill Roberts story, and they took like photographs of him. And I mean, they really did. And at the end of that documentary, you can pretty much say that Bushy Bill just does not have enough physical characteristics to match what we know about Billy the Kid. Jawlines, other things were just not matching up. So to me, I think it's more of a wives' tale. I think Billy the Kid died back in when Pat Garrett shot him.
And not just that. So when Brushy Bill met with the governor in front of the press, he was basically just Joe Biden. Gotcha. It was like the mouth falling down the stairs.
So he was very senior and just probably not full of his faculties at that point.
But I twist it. Like, I mean, most authors would be like, ooh, spoilers, but nobody cares. Nobody's read this book. They might want to read it after I spoil it, so I will spoil it. So how I do it is I basically parody Brushy Bill through a fictional character. I call him Tumbleweed Williams.
Okay.
So that's my version of Brushy Bill. Tumbleweed Williams meets with the governor, and the protagonist of the story is a sheriff from Fort Sumner who's in the audience watching, Tumbleweed Williams make a fool of himself. And it turns out that the old man next to him in the crowd is the real Billy the Kid they're watching. He did live, but he's not the Brushy Bill type guy. And that's why Brushy Bill is such an idiot.
Gotcha.
So that's the twist in this story.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. So it explains why he's this and why he's this. And interesting.
And so then the sheriff teams with old man Billy the Kid, and they kind of have to solve these murders together.
Gotcha. I'm curious for you. Is it fun to write fiction works? I mean, because obviously you're nonfiction. You're relegated to the material. You got to present it. Of course, you get the creative flair of how to present that material. But at the end of the day, the facts are the facts. You present them. Where here, you take it where you want. And, I mean, as you're writing, you'd be like, maybe I don't want to kill this guy off. Yeah. Maybe I do. Maybe you know what I mean? So imagine it's got to be a more fun adventure for you to write works of fiction.
The first book I did was outlined. Like, I made myself adhere to it. But this one, I just made up as I went, and it was a lot more natural and fun.
Okay. Now, let me ask you this. When you started the project versus finishing it, is the vision the same that when you started, or did it change completely?
Yeah, totally different. Because, I thought I knew who the villain was in the book. And then the villain turned out to be like a skinwalker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the villain...
Don't spoil it everything.
No, I won't spoil it. Here's what I won't spoil. So, do you remember Scooby-Doo?
I do.
So Scooby-Doo, the old ones at least, the monster would never turn out to be real. It was always a person.
They always pull a mask off at the end, yeah.
So that's what I won't spoil is the Skinwalker actually supernatural, or is it like just
people
Scooby-Doo
doing
thing?
up to shenanigans?
Yeah, but the villain, though, basically, the Long Walk occurred in 1864 to 1868.
Okay.
So someone who was a child on the Long Walk could conceivably still be alive in 1950. So that's the villain, is a skinwalker who survived the Long Walk.
Yeah, okay. Very good. Which is kind of, we talk about Billy the Kid, because he was, and this is actually, since we're talking this is, I don't know if you're probably familiar with it, but I think it's Stars that put it out. They have a TV show called Billy the Kid.
Yeah, I watched all of it.
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't have Stars, but they put it on Prime, so I've watched the first episode or two. And as you know, it picks up Billy the Kid as a kid and kind of his journey to New Mexico. Just gee whiz curious, how much factual in your research? How much of what you've seen is factual versus Hollywood? In there, is some of that pretty good, or is it a complete work of fiction?
I would say it's pretty good, but see, I appreciate the writing process, and people don't understand if you made it completely factual, it would be boring.
Sure,
it would not.
But I mean,
flow.
like the events, like Billy the Kid, where with his mom, and then being up in Santa Fe, and then kind of, the husband dying, that the trail coming, and him dying of looked like mental health, and then and then kind of him, because it picks up as him as a kid, like a 10-year-old kid or something, you know.
Yeah.
But it cuts back and forth to him as the adult version.
Yeah.
And so, but I only saw the first full episode, and then I decided I think my wife would want to watch this, so I'm holding out to finish it to get her in it. But I did get drawn in because it was kind of, because I was thinking it was going to be cheesy and like this weird Billy the Kid is just a bunch of shoot 'em ups with Billy the Kid's name in it, and then I was like, no, this is a more serious story than I thought. So, I do like that. But I was just curious what, I just watched it like a week ago, the first episode. So I was just curious.
I can tell they're trying to stretch it out because they want to do multiple seasons. And so what they had to do, Billy's early days are so nebulous. They kind of have to make stuff up. Like the thing about his dad going on the trail drive with him and his mental health issues, that's not really nothing, no factual.
There's no documentation of that? Okay.
But I mean, I get it. They want to put their spin on it.
But they know that his family was there and made the trek, and that's how they got to Santa Fe initially. And then, I haven't got to the part where he moseys down to Lincoln yet. I don't know if that's in this first season or.
So the first season ends with the outbreak of the Lincoln County War.
Okay, so he does get down to our neck of the woods by the end of that.
Yeah, I think he's an adult by like episode 3.
Okay.
Or so.
Full on adult. Yeah. Okay. So
he's a good Billy the Kid. He's probably the best Billy the Kid match I think I've ever seen.
Okay. He's no Emilio, huh?
Well, Emilio has more charisma.
He does. But he's an A-list actor, or was at the time.
Yeah. In terms of how he looks, though, I think his name's Tom Blyth, or I can't remember.
Yeah, he looks good. He looks, and to be honest, the very opening scenes of the show is him as an adult, and he, spoiler, guns down a guy that's hunting for the bounty here, and it's very reminiscent of Young Guns to me. That when I watched it, I was like, oh, they're recreating Young Guns to me here. This is the Young Guns version of Billy the Kid. But then so that's why I was like, okay, all right, let's see where it goes. But then as it got into the kid story and more, I was like, okay, this is a little more serious and deeper than I thought it was. So that I'm looking forward to. I just kind of thought it was going to be like a CW version of Billy the Kid, and they'll turn him into a love interest, and by the time he's a teenage heartthrob, and none of the actual Billy the Kid stuff gets in there.
Yeah, it takes itself way too seriously.
Does it?
As opposed to Young Guns.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't mind that. I don't mind
the only reason I say that is to take yourself that seriously, I think you need better production values.
Yeah.
Like 1883, have you seen it?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, so it to me, it's trying to be 1883, but it doesn't have its production value.
It doesn't have, the expensive
not that they're
music.
Bad, it's just, it's not on 1883's level.
It's an 1883 story on a CW budget.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's kind of put it. That's kind of what. That's the way I feel.
Maybe they'll put that on the DVD box cover. Quote Mike Winters.
That's right. 1883 details on a CW budget.
Yeah,
go check it out today. So, but your book, bringing it back into to Billy the Kid of present time, so to speak. Once Upon a Time in Fort Sumner. Now, this book. You can get it right now at the Historical Society. We've got a Sunday Fun Day we'll tell you about here in a minute here where we'll talk more about the book and things like that. But you don't have to wait till then.
No.
You could go to the Historical Society's website, roslynmhistory.org, order your tickets or order your book now. I imagine if you call Amy at the Historical Society, do I have the number? Yeah, 622-8333, and she'll be able to set one aside, and we can get John to autograph it for you and all that. But if you can wait till a little later in the month here on the 26th, then we'd love to invite you out for a first Sunday Fun Day we've done in since COVID just about, right? I think we may have had one or two since then, but not many. But we got Sunday Fun Day coming back, and John LeMay in his book is going to kind of talk about some of the, not just the story, but some of the tales that come out of it.
There's a ton of real history in this book, and I'll just outline the real history. Like the Brushy Bill, the Long Walk, stuff like that.
Sure. But even like the skinwalkers and all that, I mean, that's where the legend and the fact blur together, but there's details in those stories that are very fact.
Yeah.
One may argue on how we got to the end of the story. Some will blame the supernatural, others will, it's some other explanation. But that's, that's the great, and what I love about your books that I think it puts a spotlight on, especially some of your previous books, we talk about aliens and supernatural and all that here, and we all think like, well, shoot, they just showing up now, and or show up when we started testing atom bombs or whatever, and it's like, no, we have a chronologized history of unexplained sightings, UFO sightings and things. They didn't have the vocabulary. That's they describe a rocket or something or a saucer, but they've never seen a rocket like we've seen a rocket. So how to call it a rocket if you've never heard of the word rocket? So that's what we're talking about here. But if you read their descriptions and you're like, that sounds like a flying saucer, or that sounds like a missile or something, And so you're like, okay, how do they explain that? And so to me, that almost cements that, I don't know that there's ghosts and stuff, but there's something that we don't know out there going on, and until we figure it out, then we chalk it up as paranormal, and it may be it is a spirits in different planes, and we're looking at all of that. I have no idea. I'm not an expert on energy, but I love that it gives a history to it. Like it's this paranormal and all this isn't just something that just popped on the lexicon here in modern times. Oh, we got cameras now that can see stuff. Ghost Adventures comes out, now we know about ghosts. Like no, it didn't. We just didn't have the technology or the education to even kind of, and who knows, things we're talking about now, 200 from years from now, they might be laughing at us. Yeah, it's like they thought that was, and it turns out it's just But that to me is the cool part of like some of your books. It's kind of like chronological, giving us an account of these things that we think about today. They thought about it 200 years ago, 100 years ago too. They just explained it to them because it was a different perspective on how they see it. So that's what I love about your books and some of that stuff. So, but this book is out now. But Sunday Funday will take place February 26th, 3 p.m. at the Archives facility, which is right next door to the J.P. White House there on Lee Street, 208 North Lee. It's a free event, doesn't cost you anything. Just come on out. This one's more of a talk, so you probably want to be there close to 3. Yeah. It's not like a come and go like a book fair or something. Yeah. This is kind of a little bit more structured. And so you're just going to kind of be telling some of the tales and not giving away the whole book, but then obviously if people want to get a signed copy of the book and things, we'll have it.
I'm going to try to have Logan Pack there, who did the cover, so maybe he can sign it too if he's not busy.
He's what did some of the cover and the artwork and things like that too.
And something cool. Do we have time for me to mention something else cool?
Absolutely, yeah.
So my only real testament that this is actually a good book is the fact that when I posted it on
You might not want to start that way when you're advertising your book. Hey, the only thing I can tell you is really good is it.
Okay, so when I posted it on Facebook,
right?
Boyd Barrett saw my post, and he saw that I had it for free on Kindle Unlimited. And he's got Kindle Unlimited. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't ask Boyd to read my book. He just read it of his own free will.
And he loved it so much, he said, I would love to lend my voice to the audio version.
Yeah.
So, and of course, anybody that's come and seen some productions at anything from community theater to way off Broadway and Lloyd and to commercials and television, he's kind of done some of those things. So
basically, Boyd thinks this can make money one day. So I mean, that's my best testament that this is actually a good book for anyone who hasn't read it yet.
Well, is his audio version done or out?
No, he's working on it.
Okay.
And what's hilarious is Logan Pack, who does the covers, like he doesn't have time to read. And he's like, well, John, you need to do like audiobooks, and then I'll listen to them while I draw, and I'll actually know what I'm drawing.
That's kind of a neat little way to think of it.
Because Logan has no idea the stories of these books other than what I've told him.
You just give him a description, he creates the world. Yeah. So let me ask, I mean, obviously he must be pretty good if he's doing all the books. How, like, does he nail it the first time, or do you have to do a lot of revisions usually?
No, typically he nails it the first time. I just, like, on the faces on these characters, I kept telling him, I was like, do them more like Mark Wahlberg.
Okay.
Yeah, and stuff like that. And then like Billy the Kid, I was like, just like picture Sam Shepard.
Gotcha.
Or wait, no, Sam Elliott?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott, yeah.
Yes. They're both tough guys, but just different tough guys. You know, I can tell that you read like Hardy Boys and a lot of that as a kid, or that style.
I didn't, but I know what they are.
The style of those books. I mean, because your artwork on the cover is very reminiscent of some of those like Hardy Boys, Nancy Drew.
Yeah, I like the retro look.
Yeah, that style of you know, when I reading like teenage appropriate level books as that age, a lot of them had covers very similar to that, or remind me of that kind of artwork and things. So it's almost got that nostalgic.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, and to be honest, this particular title, Once Upon a Time in Fort Sumner, of course, a lot of people think of the movie Once Upon a Time in the West there, or once, and so you get that image already when you hear that. So it kind of incorporates that with, and then you see the cover with the aliens and the skinwalker stories and all that, and you're like, all right, this is going to take me to a place.
Yeah.
So, but I love all that. So so come and check this one out. This again, it's a work of fiction, but if you love history, it incorporates a lot of the historical time periods and things with the storyline.
Yeah,
so,
like I said, just like Hillerman, I used as much real stuff as I could.
It's kind of like and I've talked to you about these before, the Killer Angels and the Shahara, Michael and Jeff Shahara. Michael Shahara wrote The Killer Angels. He won the Pulitzer Prize for it. It is the book that's based on the Battle of Gettysburg. Okay. They turned it into the movie Gettysburg. Well, he made, and it was the movie. I like the movie. It's not the book. But anyway, so and then his son basically took the book and then made prequels and sequels to Killer's Angels. He did a book that kind of led. But anyway, those are works of fiction. However, if you want to learn about those battles in the Civil War, they're as accurate historically as anything out there. What makes them fiction is we have no idea what Lee and Chamberlain and all these generals were saying and doing. So that's the artistic flair. We know the facts. They create the poetry in between to get us to the facts, and that's where
something you're like. Billy the Kid's real dad, they think really did die at the Battle of Chickamauga.
Chickamauga, yeah. Civil War battle. That's considered Western theater, even though it was in Tennessee. But that was considered Western theater for Civil War area. But well, and according to the TV show, they were in New York when he was a kid. Like he came from New York City,
probably true
and
as well.
An Irish immigrant family. And at least the way the story that show portrayed it, it was like them and another family decide to make their claim out west, and it doesn't go well because it's a hard trip, and if you're, it's like taking a family with kids in tow and everything else, and taking them on a trip to space. You know what I mean? It's really daunting. And by the way, we didn't have any modern. They're riding wagon trains or a train to get to a certain port, and then when the train tracks stop, they're on a wagon train or a horse trying to get to wherever they're getting to. And oh, by the way, you got to deal with the terrain, the weather, and natives, and whoever else happens to not like you being there.
Watch 1883 if you want to be like depressed. But enthralled.
Have you watched the new one, the 1920? Yeah, I've caught up with that one too. It's pretty good.
But I've never seen Yellowstone itself. But
really, Yellowstone's good. But I think you appreciate these more because of the West. I mean, Yellowstone gets in more modern times and modern politics and all of that stuff. Where 1883 and 1922 or 23, whatever that one's called, it's all about the West, and it's dark because it's not pleasant. These people were savages, man. They and there wasn't really law per se. I mean, yes, there was law and sheriffs, but nothing was official. Nothing was. As soon as you leave a county, you're no longer wanted because there's no one to track you down. And so, and unless you were really, really nefarious, they're not going across state lines after you. Unless you're someone of the level of the lore we talk about, Frank and Jesse James, or these level of outlaws and things like that. So, Billy the Kid, I guess, would qualify in that area too. So, but of course, Billy always gets portrayed as not an outlaw, just a guy that's kind of, just trying to work for the people and be for the people and live. You know what I mean? That's the image, how he was in real life. How much of that's been romanticized versus, part of me thinks he's just a guy that's trying to make a living and live a life like everybody else. And, the Tunstall family looked out for him. Therefore, he felt a loyalty to that. And that's kind of, real life isn't as romantic as how we portray it in things. And I think, at the end of the day, he was just a kid, just trying to live his life like everybody else, and he didn't put up with as much crap as other people did, and didn't put up with the ring and all the Santa Fe ring and all the behind the door back dealings and things that this state to this day still deals with.
You just gave me an idea for my next book, an element be in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I always tell people, every time you want to learn why New Mexico's New Mexico, spend the day just reading all the billboards and every little sign in Lincoln. Through the courthouse, through the museum there, through all the different facilities and buildings. Read every sign, read everything, and by the time you're done and you read it and pay attention, you're going to say, no wonder this state's a hot mess.
Yeah.
Because it was a hot mess before it was a state. And they carried that over into statehood. So, anyway. I get off topic when I talk with John about history and stuff. But mark it on your calendars, February 26th, 3 p.m. It's a Sunday. Football will be done by then. We will know at that point who won and who did not win the Super Bowl, so you're okay there. And I'd love to have you come out. If you love Billy the Kid, if you love aliens, you love all that, you're going to love this story. And or even if you're just looking for something new, that's a fun little joint. Come check out his book. Come get a copy now. And read it, and when February 26th rolls
aliens
around.
And Once Upon a Time in Fort Sumner. It's just because we've also been talking about this Billy the Kid Aliens Kids book for anybody listening.
Yes. Oh yeah, I forgot. We got the other book here too, and
that's where the aliens come in.
That one's more aliens and kids. This one's more of legends and lore and talking of skinwalkers.
We might still have this one by February 26th, but like I said, we're the only place in town that has it right now. If you want one, very unique gift.
And it's probably just not online and just in person.
It is online.
Okay, you can get it. I didn't know if it got put up on the website or not. So, but just reach out and get a copy here. It's a great kids book. You'll have fun reading to the kids, and hopefully maybe you got a trip planned to Lincoln or something the next couple weeks. Maybe get the book and read it to your kids, and then when you spend the weekend going up there exploring, you kind of have a little reference point for some of the. A lot of it's Fort Sumner and things, but Billy the Kid and the story will translate very
colorful, very pretty artwork. So.
Yeah, very good. Good deal. So, did we get it all, John? Is there anything we missed?
We got it all, yeah.
Again, February 26th, 3 p.m. We'll remind you between now and then. I know it's not that far away, even though it does seem like it is, but it's not. So, good deal. Well, John, as always, appreciate the visit, and we look forward to your next book. And you don't even have to have a book to come in. You can come in anytime you want. But we do appreciate it, and we look forward to your next adventure here.
Thank you.
Especially if I inspired it.
You did. You inspired an element of it. Don't sue me for the story rights.
Is it the fifth element? No, I'm just kidding. That was actually on over the weekend. I was flipping channels and the Fifth Element movie was on. That's a classic. I love that stupid movie. Anyway, thank you, John. As always, appreciate it.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Sorello. A Carlsbad man who was shot in a confrontation with sheriff's deputies after officers reported seeing the man swinging a sledgehammer continues recovering. The ordeal in the 2000 block of Mora Street on Sunday, where 29-year-old Christopher Bell was arrested. His injuries determined to be non-life-threatening, but police did not say whether he was actually shot by the officer's gunfire. Authorities said Bell has outstanding warrants and had barricaded himself inside the home. A short standoff ensued before the officers breached the front door and tasered the man. A Florida businessman and social media personality has purchased the 1962 Lockheed Jetstar that once belonged to Elvis Presley. James Webb says he plans to move the airplane out of Roswell to Florida. Webb operates a YouTube channel called Jimmy's World. His business focuses on rehabilitating old, often abandoned airplanes, even making some of them airworthy again. Elvis's former airplane has been parked at the Roswell Air Center for more than 20 years, but now it will be dismantled and moved by mid-February, Webb said. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
Most Americans still have no idea just how dangerous TikTok is and why it should have been banned years ago. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by T-Mobile. Their advanced network now goes farther than ever before. Visit T-Mobile.com/55 today. TikTok is a dominant force. 138 million Americans use it. It's more popular than Google, Facebook, and Instagram. TikTok is owned by a company called ByteDance, and ByteDance is controlled by Communist China. All the data TikTok gathers about its users each day goes straight to the Chinese government. Late last year, TikTok was forced to admit that it used this very data to spy on individual Americans, including journalists. Without question, TikTok is a Trojan horse. Amid all the calls to ban it, Communist China has launched a propaganda campaign. If you want to ban TikTok, you're a racist. Don't fall for the lie. There's nothing racist about protecting America from a foreign and hostile nation. For more smarts, try my longer daily tech podcast called Kim Commando Today. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Add your job in the purple hash screening questions. Make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the candidates worth interviewing. Did you know every week, nearly 40 million job seekers visit LinkedIn? Post your job for free at linkedin.com/Kim. That's linkedin.com/Kim to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. The address again, linkedin.com/Kim, linkedin.com/Kim.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. Well, weather has kind of played havoc with the basketball schedule the last couple of days, but let's get back on track, shall we? Maybe today we've got several games that are on the docket, and boys-girls doubleheaders for all of these instances. For instance, it'll be Gateway Christian playing at Dora tonight. Gateway Christian girls are 4-9 overall, 1-1 in district play. Now that starts at 5:30. That'll be followed by the Gateway Dora boys game. Dora is 16-5 for the boys. NMMI playing at home against Tucumcari in a boys-girls doubleheader. We're not quite sure at the starting time of this, but the girls for Tucumcari are 11-6 overall, taking on the Colts, who are 2-6. The NMMI boys are 5-8, 0-1 in district. Tucumcari is 5-11. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. Few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed a beautiful new roof for an older woman who was recently widowed. She was an artist and colors were really important to her. So when she said she didn't like the color of a brand new roof, we took that seriously. She had picked the color and signed off on it, but I just kept thinking, if she's going to walk into her house every day and be disappointed, then we're just going to redo it. So we did. We ripped that beautiful new roof off and replaced it with a slightly different color, and she was thrilled. Yes, it cost us quite a bit of money to make her happy, but I want you to know you can trust Trustmark to make it exactly right every time. If you have any roofing needs, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
The 2022-2023 basketball season is underway for your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets. And in southeastern New Mexico, everybody knows that the place to go for all things Coyotes and Rockets is KSVPTV.com.
Well, McCaskill with a nice block, and here comes the Roswell Coyotes. McCaskill down baseline, and he's going to be good for two. 7 points for Smith as she sinks the and one.
Wallace has the ball to Ramirez, 18 seconds. Got her down by one. A bucket's going to win it here. Zapata!
Sports on KSVPTV.com is presented by Bob Reed Pest Control, Trustmark Roofing, Pecos Valley Equipment, Oasis Computers, Amigo Machinery, Central Valley Electric, Roswell Seed Company, Richland Motors, Big O Tires, Business Notions, Moppin and Brown Dentistry, Zenith Security, E&MU Portales and E&MU Roswell, Fergie's Plumbing and Heating, and Mays Lumber.
Salas goes baseline, and Fine School, he takes a three-point shot up, no good, and airballs it.
Oh, good lead outlet pass to Barola.
And Barola misses, and Zykarosco misses, and Lackey goes up, and good for two. 15 seconds.
And I'll tell you what, if Alamogordo could have made free throws in this game, they'd have won it.
No foul here now. Just let it be.
Oh, no, yeah.
Be now 2 and 3 overall record. In overtime, Coyotes will win this 80-74.
Catch every second of basketball action with your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets, and get caught up on past games throughout the rest of the season. Simply head for KSVPTV.com and click on the Roswell Coyotes or Goddard Rockets tab. Then sit back, relax, and enjoy all the Rocket and Coyote basketball action you can handle. KSVPTV.com, Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
This message is for Karina, our mom who finished her high school diploma at age 28. Hi, Mom. It's Emmettith and Nicholas. Congratulations on getting your diploma. You worked so hard and have taught us so much. We love you.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The Federal Reserve raised its target interest rate by 0.25 percentage point on Wednesday, continuing to promise ongoing increases in borrowing costs as part of its still unresolved battle against inflation. Inflation has eased somewhat but remains elevated, the U.S. Central Bank said in a statement that marked an explicit acknowledgement of the progress made in lowering the pace of price increases. The White House on Wednesday unveiled fresh efforts to slash credit card late fees. The move is part of a larger policy drive to promote competition in consumer markets. President Biden was also set to urge Congress to ban hidden junk fees and penalties that a federal consumer watchdog says are creeping into everyday retail services across industries. FedEx on Wednesday said it would cut its officer and director ranks by more than 10% as part of a broad cost reduction effort that has reduced staffing at the delivery giant by 12,000 workers. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday morning. Things a little backwards today, I admit, because we're switching stuff up because Mixmaster Mike Winters is out of the studio today, but he'll be back hopefully inside your studios tomorrow morning. And the formatting going to be a little off this morning. But again, we'll do our best to get it to you. Stay tuned next hour. We got Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. We're going to replay that interview coming up here in just a bit. All right, go ahead, Roy. What you got?
Oh,
well, you said you were going to play something.
I was going to.
You were going to do that off the air? You can't. Okay, you can't nix me like that. And this is live radio. If you say you have a bit planned, you have to follow through on the bit. Now I got to fill time. That's fine. Hey, join us this Saturday. We'll be broadcasting live over at Calichi's on North Main. Ourselves alongside our sister station, Fiero 106.1 FM. We're going to be broadcasting during the grand opening from 11 to 2. Come on out and join us for 50% off the entire menu and 50-cent hot dogs the whole day. So it's going to be a blast. Come on out, meet Mr. Scoopy. It's your chance to shake hands, let the kids burn off some energy in the bounce house, and save a little money because 50% off the entire menu the whole day. That's what we got waiting for you at Calichi's on North Main this coming Saturday. Come on out and join us as we broadcast live 11 to 2. They're going to be open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And again, that 50% off the entire menu and 50-cent hot dogs goes for the whole day. Come on out and join us. Look for the Big Blue Brand Wagon. And make sure to mention that you heard about it on right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Hey, maybe here in just a bit, we'll give away one of these $15 gift cards to Calichi's to get our listeners hooked up with some of the good stuff. We'll see if we can do that here in just a bit on this Thursday morning. Stay tuned next hour. Our interview with Miss Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. We plan that next on a morning without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Your home for Kim Commando in Roswell. 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Hold on, it's coming. Forecasters say that relief is on the way for icebound parts of the southern U.S. In the meantime, though, more of the same.
Hundreds of flights were preemptively canceled Thursday after a moisture-laden storm crossed the south. Snow, sleet, and sheets of ice lingered, and treacherous driving conditions resulted in at least 8 deaths on slick roads, including 1 in Arkansas and 7 in Texas. Residents hurried to move their cars as ice Ice-coated branches cracked and fell. Nearly 400,000 people were without power early Thursday, many of those in Austin, as trees heavy with ice buckled onto power lines. Pablo Vegas, head of the Electric Reliability Council of Texas, vowed the state's electrical grid and natural gas supply would not suffer a repeat of February 2021 blackouts. I'm Jennifer King.
A prayer for the healing of a divided nation. The prayer offered at this morning's National Prayer Breakfast by the event's co-chair, Congressman Tim Walberg of Michigan.
Spur us to humbly pray, Father, leaving our wrongful and divisive ways, and experience healing reconciliation in our government and our nation. Let it begin in us right now.
Love thy neighbor. President Biden admits that is a tall order, especially these days.
It's easy to say. It's hard to do.
For many years, the breakfast was hosted by the International Foundation. That's a private religious group. And after some Democrats complained it was becoming too politically divisive, Congress took charge of the event. Cost of borrowing continues to rise as the Federal Reserve has, for the 8th time since March, raised its key short-term interest rate. Watching Wall Street, stocks are mixed. Right now, the Dow down 205 points, while the NASDAQ is trading 210 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
You know that the average price of a used car is up over 40% from just a year ago?
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call Low Cost Airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
To grip the volatile region, the latest from the Media Line's Felice Friedson.
U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken's visit to the Middle East quickly turned into a mission to rescue the fragile peace following a violent weekend. Israeli forces killed 10 Palestinians during an arrest raid into a refugee camp in the West Bank city of Jenin. Then 7 Israelis were shot to death as they left a synagogue Friday night, the Jewish Sabbath. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas announced he was ending security cooperation with Israel, but walked back his decree after meeting with Blinken. A Palestinian official announced that the U.S. is conducting indirect negotiations between Israel and the Palestinian Authority, while the Sec State announced $50 million in additional aid to the PA. I'm Felice Friedson, Town Hall News, Jerusalem.
News and analysis at themedialine.org and townhall.com. A major Alaska oil project takes a small step forward, although it is still far from a done deal.
The Biden administration has issued a long-awaited study that recommends allowing a major oil development on Alaska's North Slope. Initially, it calls for up to 3 drilling sites, fewer than the 5 pursued by ConocoPhillips Alaska for the Willow project. The recommendation has angered environmentalists who have nicknamed the proposal a carbon bomb. Alaska Native groups have expressed concerns. One native village is only about 36 miles from the Willow project in a remote region of Alaska's far north. U.S. Interior Secretary Deb Haaland, who fought the Willow project as a member of Congress, has the final decision on whether to approve it. I'm Lisa Dwyer.
Top European officials have arrived in Kiev for talks with Ukrainian authorities. The visit comes as rescue crews dig through the rubble of an apartment building hit by a Russian missile. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, where are the white women at? All right, dude, listen to me carefully. Do you think Shaq got rich playing in Orlando? No, he got rich playing in college. Everybody knows that. I said, do we have a dollar? Huh?
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. So make disco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The driver listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican world radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
You want to take a dinghy? No, I took care of that at the press conference.
Well, have some of the yellow. And don't get cheap on me.
Just hang loose, blood. We'll catch up and eat that out of the
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Le Deuce.
Of a Morning Without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. I forgot I did that. So here's a pullback of the curtain. In filling in for Mixmaster Mike, we're gonna replay Hugh Hewitt this morning. So Mike came in early since he was sick. He came in early and programmed us to replay Hugh Hewitt. But the decision was made that we were going to go ahead with me being on as opposed to replaying Hugh Hewitt. And when that happened, we lost all of our formatting. So the intro was gone. Your Mornings with Mike Winters fun facts are gone. So we're kind of flying by the seat of our pants here. And I put in this open thinking this was Mike's open. This was the open that I made like a year and a half ago, just as a prank. I think I made this on April Fool's Day just to mess with Mike, and I changed up his open and played that one. I knew it was the different open as soon as I heard, "Hey, where are the white women at?" That's when you know you're definitely they're all wonky. That's when you know you're dealing with an alternate open, so to speak. But there you go, folks. We're a go on this here Thursday morning. Happy Thursday to you. The penultimate day of your work and or school week, and welcome to it. Ooh, that was a good one. You almost had it. You almost nailed it.
Wait, you can hear it too?
Oh yeah, no, that's the splitter. So it's in my head.
I got it.
You did. It's in my cans too. Happy Thursday to you. Hopefully yours is off to a better start than ours. We're making it work, like I said, folks, by the seat of our pants. Live radio is fun when you come in not knowing what you're actually going to do.
Also, for those watching on video, I apologize, but we do not want to show Sean today.
I made a request. I made a simple request, and that was when Roy got here. I said, don't put me on camera. It's not for any personal particular reason. It's just, if I got to be here filling in on radio, what I got into this business for, radio.
I share the same sentiment, so I understand.
Is no video. There's no need to see my face. That's the whole reason I got into this job in the first place, so you didn't have to. But I digress. The video is still up over at ksvptv.com. You're not missing anything by missing out on the video. Trust me, this is a largely audio format. Let me give you the rundown of what's happening this hour of the program. Coming up here in just a few minutes, about 8:15 or so, going to replay the interview that Mike had yesterday with Miss Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. They had a great conversation, and we'll replay that interview, talking about all the fun stuff happening, including the big event coming up this Saturday. Now, they're calling it the grand opening, but I feel like we need to call it the grand reopening. Because a lot of people don't remember, Calicci's used to be here.
Yes.
Before Classics, it was Calicci's. Now, I think it was Calicci's under a different brand. I believe it was a different owner of that Calicci's. I'm not 100% sure, but I think. So I've been fighting with myself trying to not call it the grand reopening this whole time. But the grand opening of Calicci's Frozen Custard and Treats on North Main is happening this Saturday. We're going to be out there broadcasting live from 11 to 2, and we want to see you out there as well. We're talking 50 cent hot dogs the whole day, and those are the basic hot dogs with your mustard, your ketchup, your relish, and your onions. That's how I take my hot dogs anyways. And 50% off the whole menu. So if you want to try one of these, one of their fancy Calicci's, like the Fudge Brownie Bliss Calicci or the Strawberry Cheesecake Calicci, that's going to be 50% off for you as well. You can also try one of their fantastic sundaes like the Straw Anna or the Mango Dango. They've also got fantastic hot dogs like the Frito Dog, the Windy City Dog, and, of course, the Nacho Dog. All these treats and so much more waiting for you at Calici's Frozen Custard on North Main. The grand opening this Saturday. We'll be out there broadcasting live from 11 to 2. Coming out and join us over on our sister stations, 92.9 The Brand and Fierro 106.1 FM.
50 cents and 50%.
That's right. It's a nice... I'm a fan of alliteration. I'm a fan of things that are well-rounded. I think that's the OCD in me. I am OCD about my hoodie strings, for example. I have, on several situations, checked myself to make sure they're even, because that drives me nuts. When, you got hoodie strings that are like this.
Because you're afraid one's going to get lost in your hoodie thing.
Kind of, yeah.
And it's hard to get it out.
It absolutely drives me nuts. So my OCD, and nobody can see that because we're not doing video, my OCD is that my hoodie strings have to be perfectly even, or else it gets in my head. But then I have to also fix my hood, which messes up the hoodie strings. It's a rough existence that I have. It's a hard knock life.
Also, if someone's married, do you still call them Miss?
No, Mrs.
Mrs. Okay. You said Miss Andrea Moore. And
yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I was like...
Although in that case, that's a non-specific generalized name. Because I will say that, I'll say, Mama Nikki or Miss Nikki or Nicole Vargas. I've actually made a habit of calling women in my life Mama whatever. I have friends like Teresa, Nicole Vargas, who I call Mama T, Mama Nikki, and that's just been the way I've designated them or designed them. But yeah, Miss, that's more of a Southern thing.
Yeah.
Or I'll even venture this. If you grew up in the public education system, chances are at some point you or one of your classmates called your teacher Miss. Did you ever do that? Miss!
Yeah.
Miss! So,
even though it was probably
even though she
Mrs.
probably was Mrs. I wasn't doing the overall research. But yeah, you're absolutely right. Mrs. Andrea Moore.
But if you had a mean teacher and there were Mrs., you would be like, who would marry you?
Ouch. Well, there's somebody out there for everybody. I had I can't speak ill of the dead. I had an okay
please don't.
educational experience, but there were a few teachers, we'll call it one or two specific, that had an impact on me educationally. And they were misses, and that always boggled my mind. It's like, really? I mean, I feel like you have worms crawling out of you. But okay, somebody out there for everybody. It's just how the world spins.
It's got worms.
It's got worms. It's got worms. 13 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's get you, before this computer confounds me, let's get you up to date on the weather.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 26 degrees around Roswell Way. Humidity at 81%. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles an hour. Barometer at 30.26 inches with a dew point of 21 degrees. It's actually going to be warming up today significantly. 57 for the high today, considering yesterday's was, 35? That's a pretty significant increase in just a day, and it's only getting warmer from here. Go ahead and pack up them sweatshirts because, well, at least this weekend, you're not going to need them. 57 for the high today with mostly sunny skies, winds out of the north 5 to 10 miles an hour. Tonight dropping down to a chilly 26 degrees, about what it is right now. Winds out of the north at around 5 miles an hour. For your Friday, though, setting up for a gorgeous weekend. Sunny and 60 for your Friday. Sunny and 64 for Saturday. 71 and sunshine for your Sunday, as it should be on a Sunday. Enjoying that sunshine. 37 for the overnight low on Sunday night, and we're heading into 71 on Monday as well. Back down to 53 on Tuesday with your slight chance of snow and rain showers happening on Tuesday night into Wednesday, but only about 20% chance of those showers, and highs in the 50s for the first to middle part of next week. 15 minutes after 8 o'clock. Going to pause, pay a couple of these bills, and after these, going to replay our interview with Mrs. Andrea Moore from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce. That's coming up next on A Morning Without Mike Winters. Stay tuned.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed, antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Hey everybody, it's time for today's STEM tip. Want to know how to make your selfies even better? Okay, let's use science. The best time for photos is golden hour. That's the moment right before the sun sets, when the atmosphere scatters blue and violet wavelengths, making perfect, soft, and golden selfie light to show off that beautiful face of yours. Click. Check out Chic and STEM for more inspiration. A message from the Ad Council.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning from the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, Executive Director, is back with us, Andrew Moore. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Anytime. How's life at the Casa and everything this morning? Everybody get off okay?
Everybody's doing great.
Yeah.
We've had sick kids over the last week, but everybody got up and out of the house without a hitch, so
Very good.
we're over the hump, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, today, who knows, but it's supposed to get nicer after today.
Correct.
So I think we're in good shape.
Yeah, yesterday was kind of sketchy.
Little bit, yeah. And they end up closing or canceling pretty much all the sporting events and everything.
Yeah.
Any afternoon or evening activity seemed to get put on the kibosh yesterday.
Well, about 10:30, the calls started rolling in at the office. Hey, is this canceled? Have you heard about this? Hey, we're going to let you know this has been canceled. Get the word out. So
Yeah, so it's been a lot of that for the last 24 hours or so. But good news is there's a lot of stuff on the horizon that, well, weather permitting, will not get canceled.
Over the next couple of weeks, we've got some really great things.
Yeah, a lot of grand
happen.
openings, a lot of businesses that are celebrating milestones and things of some way, shape, or new businesses and things. So we definitely want to put those on people's radar. And, of course, just opportunities for the Chamber as well. If you are a new business or an old business or any business and you do business in Chaves County, the Chamber can help you. And
you should be a part of the Chamber because it helps the community.
Yeah.
Even if you are a business that goes, the Chamber isn't going to be able to help me because I already have all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you becoming a member helps us be able to help a mom and pop shop or another new business or local business or organization that comes into town.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's using the resources and everything and kind of, working in concert with each other as businesses and trying to, do events and things that kind of promote all for Roswell.
Absolutely.
So, good deal. But that being said, I'm sure there's a couple things on the calendar we want to put on people's radar here.
So, of course, you mentioned it earlier, but Calicci's, woohoo, is coming back and opening. Grand opening is this Saturday. Our redcoats are going to be there about 10:30, 10:45 for the grand opening, ribbon cutting, and like Sean and you had said earlier, deeply discounted menu for the day.
They're doing 50-cent regular hot dogs.
Yep.
Matter of fact, if you get one of these little flyers, there's a voucher for a free treat voucher if you want to get a free frozen treat. They're doing 50% off the entire menu. And just to give you a little smattering of some of the menu items, of course, they got hot dogs. The rest is kind of sweet. But for hot dogs, they've got, you can get like the Windy City dog, which is like a Chicago version of the dog, a chili cheese or a Frito pie dog. They got all those. But they've got their Calicci's, which are like their frozen treats with the frozen custard mixed with like, depending on what you get, like there's a Rocky Road one that's got marshmallows and chocolate.
Yes.
And then they got like a strawberry cheesecake that, well, you figure out what goes in there. Yeah. And then they got their shakes and malts and of course their custard, cones or forever. Or they even got like if you like the old fashioned soda jerk sodas.
Yes.
They do that too. They got blueberry, cherry, chocolate sodas even. So
yes.
They got, wherever your sweet tooth goes, they probably got
They got
a fix
something
for
for you. And Kalichi's did their training in our boardroom and has a couple more training scheduled for the onboarding process for all of their new employees over there. So it was really cool to walk in the other day and see our boardroom full of these nice, friendly faces that are going to be the team here in Roswell for Kalichi's.
Yeah. But grand opening is this Saturday.
This Saturday at 10:30 or 10:45, our Redcoats will be there. So ribbon cutting. Please come out, and that's at 3009 North Main, just in case nobody knows where it's at. It's where Classics used to be, and before that, they were Kalichi's. So it's Kalichi's, Classic Kalichi's. So very similar as Classics was. So please come and be supportive.
Yeah, come out and enjoy some ice cream and good news. It's going to be, upper 60s.
Yes.
So it'll be a
nice
good day for ice cream.
Absolutely.
Or custard, I guess, would be the term. I don't know if they get mad if you call it ice cream, even though it's technically custard.
Correct.
I don't know the.
Yeah, they kind of looked at me the other day. I was like, ice cream, and they're like, actually, and I'm like, I know, it's custard.
Yes. But if it's yummy and delicious, and we all love ice
and
cream,
it's frozen,
and people
then
associate with that, it's like, who cares? It's
absolutely.
It's going
so
to
come
my
out.
belly, and it's delicious.
And then next week on Thursday, so a week from tomorrow, February 9th at 10 a.m., Loveless Women's Hospital Maternal Fetal Medicine Clinic is having their grand opening.
Okay.
I know that's a lot. That's a lot to say.
So basically, it's dealing with moms and infants and
basically
their
the women's clinic.
Gotcha.
So, and that is Thursday, 10 a.m. at 311 West Country Club.
Okay.
Suite 11.
All right.
Or Suite 2. Oh my gosh. Somebody's going to be like, no, wrong door. Suite 2, 311 West Country Club, Suite 2. 10 a.m. next Thursday, February 9th.
They're in the medical district.
Correct.
Country
and
Club.
so
It's
we're
right
very excited that Loveless is opening up their women's clinic.
Anytime we get more healthcare options in our community,
Absolutely.
that's a good thing. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And then last night I had a last minute email that Eastern New Mexico Medical Center is going to be doing an open house for one of their new doctors, Dr. Cohen. Is coming in to town, and he's having a big grand opening and open house. And that is going to be February 21st. From
about 2
4
weeks
to
there.
6.
Okay, very good. So
and
3
we'll
weeks,
have
actually.
all of the exact details coming out. So once again, if you are a member of the Chamber of Commerce, one of the great benefits is that you get to be a part of our weekly email.
Absolutely.
And every Friday, just after lunch, we send out an email that'll have all of this information with the details plus so much more. And then as a member, you also get to contribute to the email if there's any pertinent, exciting information that you'd like to pass on to the community.
Absolutely, yeah. It's one of many just opportunities to get your word out.
Yes.
The email blast is kind of that last minute reminder and things, but also, and through our website and things, that's where chamber members can use that resource to kind of promote their events and businesses or their sales and things too. So really, the email blast is kind of just a cherry. The really, to me, the website with all the other stuff is the frozen custard in this case.
Absolutely.
And then the email blast is kind of that just a cherry on top there.
Yeah,
So.
and on our email or our website, I'm glad that you said about our website. We are in session right now up in Santa Fe. All of our legislators, our elected officials are up there doing really good, hard work. And on a daily basis, we are updating our legislative news section of the website with links to how the legislative main page, so you can go and see what bills are being dropped up there in Santa Fe that are going to be discussed in committee, as well as the calendar of when any of the committees are meeting. The link for the webcasts. So if you're not able to go to Santa Fe, because we're not always able to be up there for 60 days as the session is right
Sure,
now,
absolutely.
you can click on the link and the webcast for any committee meeting or the floor meetings, whether it be the Senate or the House, are up there, and you can watch what's going on.
Great.
As well as the calendar that will tell you exactly what committees are meeting, what time they're meeting, and what bills are being discussed in those committees.
Okay.
And then we're also posting links from news sources about what's going on, not only in Santa Fe, but with the county commission, the city council, and up in Washington. So anything that has to do with the governmental process that affects us in Chaves County and in Roswell, there are links in that legislative news section of our website.
Excellent. So folks that want to, if you're looking for a particular bill or wanting to know some updated status, or if you're just curious to see what your legislators are working on right now and you kind of, have thoughts on that, you can check them out. Again, go to the Chamber's website, find all the links to all the legislative information, whether it's the meetings or and at the same token, if you look at the schedule and see that there's things that you want to contribute to your legislature, you look ahead. That'll give you a little time to shoot an email to whoever your representative is,
or even participate, because they do have online participation. So once again, if you see that there's something coming up that you're very passionate for, you can have the opportunity to log into their GoToMeeting, and I'm not sure if it's exactly GoToMeeting, but they have that kind of
whatever participation. It is,
yes, they have that participation that you can log in and be able to speak either in, and I think it's just committee. I don't believe you can speak on the House floor or the Senate floor, but in committees, because right now everything is committees.
Yes.
And it's actually very interesting to watch the process, even if you're not interested in something super passionately, but to see what's going on. In fact, in my office at any given point, I've got something running in the background and I'm constantly clicking back and forth going, oh, I heard something. What was that all about? Or a friend will send me a text. Hey, you need to go check out, House Ag Committee, for example, because they're talking about cheese, and this is really exciting.
Sure.
And you might think cheese is not very exciting, but it can be.
Can be here in Roswell.
Right, exactly. So please go check out our legislative news.
Absolutely.
And then, of course, if there is a particular item that the chamber is passionate about that we really think that the community needs to know about, that will also be on the website and in our email that will say, hey, we need you to go and start contacting your legislators. And we'll give you a list of, for example, if it's in committee, we'll give you a list of the committee members and who needs to be contacted with all of the contact information, emails, phone numbers, etc.
Very good. So please utilize those. But at least, even if you're not having an interest per se in all this stuff, I think every New Mexican should at least be aware of. We don't have to be experts on every bill and everything. I mean, that's just madness. But you should kind of at least understand how the sausage is made, and especially if you have issues. And you know what? I guarantee there's someone. Every single person's got an issue with somebody somewhere at a government level about something.
Well,
and so
there's a lot going on in Roswell. That. What happens in Santa Fe is going to affect us.
Sure.
Yes, Washington is very important, and the decisions that they make do affect us here. But reality is what happens in Santa Fe, what happens at City Council and at County Commission affects us more because it's going to affect us immediately and with greater consequences.
Yeah, that's generally a rule is the more local the government entity, the more greater impact that they're going to have on your day-to-day lives.
Correct.
You watch, CNN or Fox or whatever your proclivities are, and watch all the national news stuff, and you're like, yeah, that makes you mad and stuff. But at the end of the day, you're like, all right, is that gonna affect when I go to the store? Affect when I go up the street to get my trash can or whatever? And probably not. But the impact that city council and county commissions make are going to greater impact that
and
day-to-day
the
stuff.
governor has said that her passions for this session are going to be the health, welfare, and safety of children and families. She wants to look at gun control. So whatever that means to her and her fan base, I guess you could call it, those are some of the top things that I have seen that they're talking about right now. Now, of course, they're always talking about how are we going to help our agricultural industry, which we are big in down here in southeastern New Mexico.
Absolutely.
But her passions, and then, of course, our new Attorney General, Raul Torres, has also said his biggest passion right now is going to be the health, welfare, and safety of children. So those are some of the bills that I've seen in committee the last few days. So if crime is a passion of yours, if you want to be safe in your community, if you want your children and your families to be safe, those are kind of some of the things that I'm seeing that are hitting right now.
Yeah, I know yesterday I was watching the news and there was kind of, I guess, some legislation to kind of protect business owners.
Yes.
From, like when you see these incidents of shoplifters and quite frankly, a lot of business owners are afraid to do anything for fear of getting sued or for fear of just worse things happening other than they lost whatever merchandise was stolen. And so that because they don't feel protected, they like, hey, I can get sued because this guy broke in and stole my stuff.
Yep.
And because I confronted them and prevented them from doing, now they can sue me. I mean, that's ridiculous. And so they're trying to get some legislators are trying to get legislation. I know one got tabled or shot down.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's others in the works, but I'm guessing there are. But that's the kind of stuff we're talking about. Pay attention to that kind of thing, and you can go to the links on the chamber website to kind of get the skinny and all that stuff.
Absolutely.
It's way more encompassing than, you watch your nightly news, which I do, and they'll hit a couple of the highlights, but there is so much going on that they can't possibly hit you with all the legislation that's going on at a given day in Santa Fe because there's all the committees going and 30 other things going on.
Absolutely. So please go check out our website because we've got all kinds of information that we've got up there. You can sign up to be a member. You can rent our boardroom. And then, of course, all of these other events and stuff you can go look at on our calendar. And, of course, if you have information about an event that's going on, let us know, and we're going to put it on our community calendar.
Gotcha. Hey, just curious, because folks that don't know, Andrea just got back from Santa Fe a week or so ago here, almost to the day a week ago.
Yeah.
But she gets coming back anyway. But I'm curious, what was COVID world like up there? Was it pretty much back to normal, or was it very restricted still?
Well, it's a little bit of both.
Okay.
They're a little bit of hybrid. You're not required, as of when I went up there, you were not required to wear a mask, for example, but there were people that were wearing masks. So
if you choose to.
So if you choose and it makes you feel more comfortable, go up there, wear your mask.
But there was no mandatory.
But nothing was mandatory.
Okay.
The restaurants and bars and entertainment were open. And it seemed pretty normal.
So just curious
for Santa Fe.
Observation: mask, no mask. Was there a large percentage in them, not in them? I'm just curious.
A hybrid. It kind of depended on where you went.
Sure.
If you're in a smaller establishment, and keep in mind it is Santa Fe, so some of the smaller restaurants, some of the smaller establishments, there may have been more people with masks because they felt more comfortable.
Sure.
I don't wear a mask. I haven't worn a mask, but nobody hassled me.
Okay.
And
I'm just kind of trying to get the feel a little bit.
No, nobody gave me funny looks because they were like, oh, you are not wearing a mask. It was just like, oh, you're wearing a mask. Awesome. Good for you.
So
you're not? Okay, awesome. Good for you.
Good. That's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You choose to do it, great, awesome, and you should go about your day with no issues.
Yes.
As the person that chooses not to.
Exactly. And the receptions and all of the social stuff is going on up there. So it's kind of back to normal that way. Once again, on our legislative news section of our website, I even have posted the social calendar. So if there is a particular day, because of course a lot of these days are called, Family Day, Education Day, County Day, City Day, then you can go and look and be like, oh, I really want to make sure I'm a part of Chaves County Day. Okay, that's on this day. I'm going to make sure I go up there.
Gotcha.
Or there's a particular reception where you're like, I want to make sure I'm there to be supportive of that organization. All of that stuff is on there. So our full session calendar, the full social calendar, is up and going.
Good deal.
We were up there for Leadership Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also had the legislative reception, which is the huge reception that the Santa Fe Chamber of Commerce traditionally has done. And this was the first year since 2020, because we were able to get all of that stuff in before COVID hit, that the Santa Fe Chamber did, and we were a part of that, and it was awesome.
Great.
I was talking to their executive director, and she said that they had more participation this year than she has ever seen.
That's great.
And
that's good news.
We went up with a bunch of stuff and came back with, I think, 3 boxes, and that was it. We were able to give away all of the donations that we were given. So thank you to NEMI, thank you to Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, thank you to ENMUR for all of the donations. Loveless, Chimera, all helped donate items that we were able to give away.
Nice.
The UFO Museum. So thank you very much.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. Well, yes, we got a little Roswell flavor up there for it.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, anything Roswell, anything aliens was a huge hit. Everybody wanted that stuff.
People
and the
love our alien stuff. Yeah.
NEMI always gives us really cool backpacks. And so people come and see us for the backpacks and then stuff everybody else's stuff. So it was really cool to see about 150 NEMI backpacks floating around.
It's a smart move from NMMI if you think about it. When they're going, and it's like, well, think about it.
Yeah.
Now we just got free advertising as everybody and their uncles walk around Santa Fe with an NMMI backpack.
Absolutely.
On the back. Yeah, it's great. It's brilliant.
Absolutely. And it's not one of those bags like a little shoulder bag.
Yeah.
It's a backpack that people are going to use
Something
again.
they want to keep and something
Absolutely.
they like. Yeah, makes sense. It's great. A good idea. See? Why they pay them the big bucks over there. It was smart people.
And then over the next few weeks, we're going to start pushing out information. The Human Resources, Southeastern New Mexico Human Resources Association is going to be having a big conference in March.
Okay.
It's going to be from 10 to 2. So once again, be looking for our flyers and our information. If you have employees, you need to be a part of this conference. It's not just for people like Leprino or McDonald's or Richland or Crumlin Auto Group. It's not these major businesses, but if you are a mom and pop and you and one person if you've got a payroll of any kind, this is the kind of thing that you need to be a part of, because there is so much changing in the world in regards to employees and what would be under that title of human resources, that you really need to be there. And then if nothing else, you can network, because if you have 2 employees, you're not going to have a dedicated HR department per se.
Yeah.
But you're still going to need to make sure you're in compliance and that there's certain things federally, locally, and state that you have to be doing. And it's always nice to have somebody to talk to, because I'm learning all about HR and realizing we've got 3 people in our office. We're not a huge office. I don't have a dedicated HR, but I have my resources out there because of the Southeastern New Mexico HR people. And then through them, I've networked and I know who I can call if I can't find the answer on the website.
Well, and let's face it, major corporations, they have people dedicated to just doing HR stuff. And like you said, mom and pop businesses don't do that, especially, if it's a family business and literally but here's the thing, you're still a business, therefore you have to comply with these these regulations and standards. So you got to know it, even if, it's just me and my uncle and aunt, or me and my, 1 and 2 employees, because if something goes south, it may never, but you've got to protect yourself and your employees if those things do happen. And if you don't know or have those things in place, I'd hate for you to potentially lose your whole business.
You need
over
to know
dumb.
about things like the Family Medical Leave Act. What does that mean? Who gets to be a part of that? Who qualifies? Who doesn't? And then something as simple as the new sick leave laws that have come out from Santa Fe this last year, that you have to be keeping track of accrued sick time.
Yeah. If you don't do it and one of your employees you've got a problem. So
absolutely.
It's got to be on your radar. So if you're completely oblivious to this or don't have a plan in place, please sign up for this event and please come to this.
And the links are on our website. Once again, if you're a member, you're getting it in our email blast. And so those are, once again, just more of those things that we are seeing. And we are learning every day more and more about our website. So any of our members, be looking for some member emails, because we're going to start doing some training on our new website and how it works, because lots of new things have rolled out that we're learning, and we're like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, and our members will be able to use it. So,
and really, these are great. I mean, these tools will help any local business.
Absolutely.
But if you're a small business, smaller, the more benefit you're going to get.
Absolutely.
From this. Because and we understand this, a bigger business, we got a marketing budget. We can spend X amount of dollars a month on advertising or marketing and things like that. We got, we got our HR department. You own a cupcake stand up the street, or you own a antique store up the street here. You don't have all of those things.
Correct.
Here.
And we're here to help you with all of that stuff. In fact, we're helping Eastern New Mexico University Roswell campus push out the word. They have about 5 different students that are graduating from their programs that are looking for employment. There are 3 students that have just recently graduated from the welding program, and they were slated to be a part of DOT, but they're not able to get into those positions till May. But they are looking for employment. So if you have the need for a welder, please contact us at the Roswell Chamber of Commerce, and we'll give you their resumes.
Excellent.
Because these guys are looking, and they're not just all guys, they're girls too, but these students are looking for employment, and they're willing to go find permanent employment somewhere else. It's not just, I'm waiting until May. No, these are students that have graduated the program that are hungry to go to work, and in a time and environment where it's difficult to. I've got a young lady that is looking to be a personal assistant of some kind that has just recently graduated from the program out at ENMUR. So if you're looking for a personal assistant, she's willing to start in the office pretty much at any level. But she just wants the opportunity to get out there.
To get
exactly.
their foot in the
and
door.
Then we have another male student that wants to be working within the government of some kind, whether it be the city, the county, the state. He just wants, he's looking for a job, another student that has graduated. And so we've started to partner with the college to help find these students.
Put businesses to employees and things like that. So,
I want to call them kids because everybody's a kid to me, but they're not kids.
No.
These are
young adults.
Young adults, and they are hungry to go to work. So I don't want to hear somebody say, I can't find employees. Well, I have 5 right now. Now, some of them are a little bit more focused on what they want to do.
Sure.
But if you're looking for an employee, contact us too, because we're always talking.
And I know enough to know that skilled positions like welders are highly coveted and sought after. So you have an opportunity to lock one down now. Let's take it. Well, you got the chance.
These kids,
because,
these students are hungry.
Like I said, these welding kids, they're going to have no problem. I mean, you want to get them now, I'm telling you. Their advantage is kind of on their end, not your end. We're trying to help you here on this, especially with the welders.
And our welding program out at the college is phenomenal.
Yeah.
It is a very, very good program.
Yeah.
And I have talked to people that have had programs around the country, and they said ours is pretty stellar.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I've heard that on multiple different curriculums at that college. So we are very blessed to have that.
We are. So if you're an employer looking for an employee, please contact us, and we will put you in contact with the right people. And then the transverse is true as well. If you are looking for employment, feel free to contact us, and we are happy, to put you in contact with the college as well, and they'll kind of help you as well.
Yeah, very good. So please check out the Chamber website. come by the chamber if you need if you got questions or whatever. If the door's locked, ring the doorbell.
Yes.
If you see cars out front, somebody's there, and
Yes.
they'll be happy to help you. Of course, don't forget to come out to the grand opening this Saturday for Calici's. And then, come out and have a hot dog, have a custard of, whatever your favorite flavor is.
And if you need a flyer, then we've got a couple extra.
Okay.
We have some extra flyers
This is
at
the only
the
one
office.
I've got, but
131 West 2nd, and you can call us at 575-623-5695. Come by. We'd love to help you in any way that we can, and definitely you want to be a member because we are going to be able to help you any way that we possibly can.
Absolutely.
And if nothing else, you're helping the community by helping us be able to help these smaller mom and pop shops.
Yeah, sometimes the big businesses supporting us.
Or a new shop.
Support the small businesses.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of where that conduit to help bridge all that. So, but I don't have any more of those flyers, but be listening because I think next hour I'm going to give away, I got $15 gift cards for Calici's.
Fantastic.
So, for their grand opening. You don't have to use it on Saturday. You use it whenever you want, but I'm just saying, I got them. You can bring them with you on Saturday, and
There you go.
Of course, they got a lot of other. It's 50% off the whole menu. I maybe hold on to that.
$15 could go a long way on Saturday, or like you said, wait.
Hold off and then use it at another date and take advantage of all the
That's right.
the sales and deals on Saturday. But yeah, definitely. So, I guess do we get it all? Is there
We
anything
got
else?
everything that I had on my list.
Excellent. Well, thank you as always. And,
Absolutely. Thanks for having
give
me.
the phone number.
575-623-5695.
Yep, call that.
623-5695.
Leave a voicemail if, nobody's at the office, like at 2 in
We
the morning,
return
whatever.
calls, and because sometimes we are busy, sometimes we are out in the community. But stop by 131 West 2nd. If you see there's 2 white vehicles or a big black truck, then somebody is there. Ring the doorbell because unfortunately we do have to keep our door locked.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Especially if there's just 1 or 2 people in the building.
Correct.
If there's a group, then it's a little safer. But
Correct.
For security purposes.
But ring the doorbell, we'll come and help you out.
Absolutely. Good deal. Thank you, ma'am. As
Thank
always,
you.
Appreciate it. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks. But just in time to remind everybody about all the stuff at Loveless and all this that's going on here in
Absolutely.
about 3 weeks. We'll give a last minute reminder for that stuff too.
Yes.
But if you want Calici's or anything, this is your last minute reminder.
That's right. Saturday is the day.
Good deal. Well, thank you as always. We'll see you here in a couple of weeks.
The best Asian cuisine in town. Try their egg drop soup, General Tso's chicken, or perhaps their spicy seafood salad. And you must try their fresh milk green tea or Thai coffee, all made fresh. Dine in or call ahead and pick up at the Asian Market today.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at the Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price, and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
Heart disease is one of the leading causes of death in New Mexico, but it's preventable. If you have high blood pressure or cholesterol, are overweight, smoke, or have other risk factors, it's time to talk to a cardiologist. The cardiology team at Artesia General Hospital has the experience and latest diagnostic technologies to help you identify your risk factors and diagnose and treat any heart health concerns you might face. One beat at a time, we're here for every heart. Request your cardiology appointment today at artesiageneral.com/heart.
So you think drinking alcohol can't hurt you? It'll mess you up big time. Say adios to large chunks of your brain. Major damage is already being done. Other parts of your body are getting wrecked too. Forget about sports, forget about school, forget about doing much of anything. Underage drinking freaks out your body, messes up your life.
Sponsored by the NMDOT.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update, I'm Jared Sorello. A Carlsbad man who was shot in a confrontation with sheriff's deputies after officers reported seeing the man swinging a sledgehammer continues recovering. The ordeal in the 2000 block of Mora Street on Sunday, where 29-year-old Christopher Bell was arrested. His injuries determined to be non-life-threatening, but police did not say whether he was actually shot by the officer's gunfire. Authorities said Bell has outstanding warrants and had barricaded himself inside the home. A short standoff ensued before the officers breached the front door and tasered the man. A Florida businessman and social media personality has purchased the 1962 Lockheed Jetstar that once belonged to Elvis Presley. James Webb says he plans to move the airplane out of Roswell to Florida. Webb operates a YouTube channel called Jimmy's World. His business focuses on rehabilitating old, often abandoned airplanes, even making some of them airworthy again. Elvis's former airplane has been parked at the Roswell Air Center for more than 20 years, but now it will be dismantled and moved by mid-February, Webb said. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
The 2022-2023 basketball season is underway for your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets. And in southeastern New Mexico, everybody knows that the place to go for all things Coyotes and Rockets is KSVPTV.com.
Well, McCaskill with a nice block. And here comes the Roswell Coyotes. McCaskill down baseline, and he's going to be good for two. 7 points for Smith as she sinks the and one.
Salas has the ball to Ramirez, 18 seconds. Got her down by one. A bucket's going to win it here. Zapata!
Sports on KSVPTV.com is presented by Bob Reed Pest Control, Trustmark Roofing, Pecos Valley Equipment, Oasis Computers, Amigo Machinery, Central Valley Electric, Roswell Seed Company, Richland Motors, Big O Tires, Business Notions, Maupin and Brown Dentistry, Zenith Security, E&MU Portales and E&MU Roswell, Fergie's Plumbing and Heating, and Mays Lumber.
Salas goes baseline, and Fine School, he takes a three-point shot up, no good, and airballs it.
Oh, good lead outlet pass to Barola.
And Barola misses, and Zykarosco misses, and Lackey goes up and good for two. 15 seconds.
And I'll tell you what, if Alamogordo could have made free throws in this game, they'd have won it.
No foul here now, just let it be.
Oh, no, yeah.
Be now 2-3 overall record. In overtime, Coyotes will win this 80-74.
Catch every second of basketball action with your Roswell Coyotes and Goddard Rockets, and get caught up on past games throughout the rest of the season. Simply head for KSVPTV.com and click on the Roswell Coyotes or Goddard Rockets tab. Then sit back, relax, and enjoy all the Rocket and Coyote basketball action you can handle. KSVPTV.com, Southeastern New Mexico's sports authority, then, now, and always.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. The Federal Reserve raised its target interest rate by 0.25 percentage point on Wednesday, continuing to promise ongoing increases in borrowing costs as part of its still unresolved battle against inflation. Inflation has eased somewhat but remains elevated, the U.S. Central Bank said in a statement that marked an explicit acknowledgement of the progress made in lowering the pace of price increases. The White House on Wednesday unveiled fresh efforts to slash credit card late fees. The move is part of a larger policy drive to promote competition in consumer markets. President Biden was also set to urge Congress to ban hidden junk fees and penalties that a federal consumer watchdog says are creeping into everyday retail services across industries. FedEx on Wednesday said it would cut its officer and director ranks by more than 10% as part of a broad cost reduction effort that has reduced staffing at the delivery giant by 12,000 workers For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. There's always something new and exciting waiting for you. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all of Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecued fried rice in town. All made fresh. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
Ephesians 2:10 says, "For we are God's workmanship, created in Christ Jesus to do good works, which God prepared in advance for us to do." I love that passage. I think what he's saying is that God calls us to service. We're not saved by our service, we're saved by his service. In other words, we serve in response to the saving grace that God has given us. In response to our salvation, he calls us to follow him. How do we do that? Well, Paul says we serve. If you're going to be a follower of Jesus, you're going to have to get your hands dirty. If we aren't serving, can we really call ourselves Christians? Following Christ is not just the absence of badness, it's the presence of goodness through our service. Through our good works, we're saying that God is doing a good work in us. We're glorifying God through that service. At Country Club Road, we're striving to serve our God by serving others. We aren't perfect at it, but we keep working to do what God calls us to do. We invite you to join us in finding ways to serve the community around us.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Then put your little hand in mine. There ain't no hill or mountain we can't climb.
It's cold out there today. That's cold out there every day. Yeah, for those who are fans, that's, of course, what Bill Murray woke up to every single morning on Groundhog Day. Thank you, Roy, to Roy for having that intro. We don't have our normal Mornings with Mike Winters fun facts since our formatting's been a little bit wonky today. So I appreciate that you had him back on that one. You know, I actually saw a thing on that movie that Bill Murray, I think they said he lived through like 1,200 years.
Yeah, something like that.
In total.
Which...
It's mind-blowing because, but they said like in order to become an expert as he did in all of the different things that he did, in order to do all of the things that he did, he would have had to have had like 1,200 years, and that's torture. That sounds like absolute torture. Which, understandably, he did try to commit suicide like 4 times. I did a story last hour on the other station about a guy who. His assignment to himself over the last calendar year was to watch Groundhog Day once every week for 52 weeks. And he explained a whole process of like how it was for him. He said for the first 2 months, it wasn't bad. It was actually enjoyable. He liked the movie. He was able to kind of get caught up on it. By the 3rd month, he said he'd memorized it so much, he knew the movie so well inside and outside that he was watching stuff in the background. Like up to and including that the kid in the wheelchair in the hospital scene is the kid that he catches out of the tree later in the movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That's what this guy figured out. So, because he started just watching the background. And so he figured out that was the same kid.
Okay.
Then he hated the movie. He went through a period of just absolutely hating the movie and not wanting anything to do with it. But by the end, it was enjoyable again. Like the last 2 months worth of viewing, it was enjoyable again because he started getting into it with fans of the movie. He got online, he found fans of Groundhog Day and found a community, and it became like a thing. He finished his last viewing in a movie theater, and he said he was so glad it was over. He said he doesn't know if he'll ever see the movie again, but he says definitely not for a very long time.
Yeah. No,
and that's just 1 year. Now take that and multiply it by 1,200. That's absolute hell.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It seems like I hate when people do that, like mathematical equations of stuff and like try to put science into fantasy
it's
or
always
whatever.
fun to quantify it, just to be like, how long was he in that abject hell that he was? Because it's driven so crazy that he'd have a groundhog drive. We gotta go. We're listening to 106.5 KEND Roswell, New Mexico.
Jennifer here from Trustmark Roofing, and I know you've heard me say that you can trust Trustmark, but I want you to know what that looks like in real life. A few years ago, we installed
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Now in the majority in the House, Republicans wasting no time delving into the crisis on the southern border. The House Judiciary Committee has held its first hearing on the situation. The committee chair, Ohio Republican Jim Jordan, notes that there have been more than 4.5 million illegal crossings since President Biden took office.
And frankly, I think it's intentional. I don't know how anyone with common sense or logic can reach any other conclusion.
The Democrats' response, they accuse the Republicans of racism because the GOP wants to secure the border, choking off the flow of illegals and deadly drugs like fentanyl. Another day of difficult, if not impossible, travel across parts of Texas, along with portions of Arkansas, Mississippi, and Tennessee. A wave of ice storms leaving the roads hazardous, resulting in numerous flight delays and cancellations. The severe weather blamed for at least a half dozen deaths, but forecasters do expect things to start to improve later today. President Biden and members of Congress attended the National Prayer Breakfast in Washington.
For the 71st year in a row, the nation's political leaders gathered to seek God's mercy and to pray.
Spur us to humbly pray, Father, leaving our wrongful and divisive ways.
President Biden, who cited Scripture's commandments to love God and others, said it's especially hard to love thy neighbor in today's political environment.
It's easy to say, it's hard to do. But in that commandment lies the essence of faith.
Greg Clugston, Washington.
After receiving pledges of tanks from the U.S. and Germany, Ukraine now asking the West, including the U.S., for fighter jets. Watching Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is down 72 points, while the Nasdaq trading 337 points higher, and the S&P is up 57 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
52. Energy giant Shell reporting record annual profits after energy prices soared last year following the Russian invasion of Ukraine.
This is the highest profit in Shell's 115-year history. It is the highest profit ever recorded by a UK company of any kind. And obviously there is some outrage at these numbers when people are suffering, and there are calls for even higher taxes on these companies. In the UK, they already pay 75% of any UK profits in taxes and an additional windfall tax. But 95% of the money Shell makes is from outside the UK and is taxed outside the UK. So politicians where it's domiciled are very frustrated that they don't seem to be able to get their hands on as much money as they would like.
The BBC's Simon Jack. Israel hit targets in the Gaza Strip early today, hours after Palestinian terrorists fired a rocket into Israel. Townhall.com. A major healthcare provider runs afoul of the feds. It's all about customer privacy.
The Federal Trade Commission has imposed a $1.5 million penalty on telehealth and prescription drug discount provider GoodRx Holdings for sharing users' personal health data with Facebook, Google, and other third parties without their consent. In a first-of-its-kind enforcement, California-based GoodRx also accepted that it will be prohibited going forward from sharing user health data with third parties for advertising purposes. Consumer protection advocates are hailing Wednesday's announcement as a potential game changer that could seriously curtail a little-known phenomenon, the trafficking in sensitive health data by businesses not strictly classified as healthcare providers. Keith Peters reporting.
The Federal Reserve is hiking its key short-term interest rate by a quarter point in a bid to fight inflation, the 8th rate hike since March. More on these stories at townhall.com.
world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Los Tres Inviernos.
Oh, I like the los. Of a morning without Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday.
Happy Groundhog Day.
Yes, indeed. And I know she ain't listening, but happy birthday to one Jasmine. It was always a joke, running joke between us that she was a half groundhog. She was born on Groundhog Day. But happy birthday to Ms. Jazz on this Groundhog Day. Oh, and by the way, Punxsutawney Phil did in fact see his shadow, which means 6 more weeks of winter. Yep. Did you know that the first Groundhog Day, the first one ever, they actually ate Punxsutawney Phil after he saw his shadow?
Really?
At the first celebration back in like 1880 something, they cooked and served Punxsutawney Phil, and they said he was, quote, quite tender. Just in case you were curious, groundhog is quite tender.
I thought we got all our winter at once this year.
Yeah, no, it was. We decided to save it up for the tail end. Right here at the tail end.
Like it wasn't bad enough.
Yeah, no, it's. But we're almost out of the thick of it. I mean, the last couple of days has been rough. It's been cold, but we're almost there. Just a couple more. Actually, pretty much today, where we're breaking the streak. We're in the 50s today, and then back up to the 70s by this weekend.
You know what I don't understand? That
physics.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if the groundhog sees his shadow, if it's sunny outside, that means more winter. But if it's cloudy outside, that means more spring.
Apparently,
more summer.
An early spring. If he doesn't see his shadow. Now, the shadow's going to be there regardless. The question is, does Punxsutawney Phil actually see the shadow?
Well, no, I looked it up, and it's based on sunniness or cloudiness.
You're fine. It's fine. There's some logic behind it, but I did also found
because it's a superstition.
Apparently, according to the council, there's the Groundhog Council, he has been right every single time. We're just misinterpreting him. That's what it is. He speaks groundhogese.
Oh, okay.
And the mayor, whatever mayor of Gobbler's Knob happens to be the mayor at that time, which, by the way, great name, town. Whatever mayor of Gobbler's Knob happens to be the mayor at the time speaks fluent.
To each his own.
Speaks fluent groundhogese. We just don't necessarily interpret what he has to say clearly. That's what it is. He's also only been right like 16% of the time. So take of all of this what you will. But yeah, according to Punxsutawney Phil, 6 more weeks of winter. That being said, look forward to 71 degrees and sunshine this coming Sunday.
So you're saying Bill Murray's brother is wrong?
Yeah.
And not Phil,
no.
the groundhog.
Yeah, and that's a fun fact, folks. The mayor of Gobbler's Knob in the movie Groundhog Day was, in fact, Bill Murray's brother. It'd be funny if his name was Phil. I know it's not.
Have you ever watched the show Flapjack, the cartoon?
I did not.
He plays a cartoon character in that named Captain Knuckles.
Neat. You know what? Oh, you know what? He's done a lot of voiceover work.
And you can tell it's his voice.
Because he's got that voice. He always talks just like this.
It's me, Captain Knuckles. Yeah.
That's funny. I think that most people, as they age out of actual film work, age into, I can just sit in front of a microphone and do voice work for my whole life.
Right.
It's super simple. I'm surprised that most people don't find it faster than that. But yes, happy Groundhog Day to you and to yours. Punxsutawney Phil did see a shadow, so 6 more weeks of winter, but 71 degrees this coming Sunday. Yeah, there you go. We're going to go swimming this weekend. I don't know. That's my plan. Oh, by the way, I haven't talked to Thomas, but I know that he is aware of the fact that we are in the process of trying to procure an ice tub. So that Mike and I can Mike or myself can do the polar plunge. It's funny though. I told somebody yesterday. So for those who are just tuning in and maybe missed it, yesterday Mike and I had a discussion wherein the end result was we placed a bet on the Super Bowl. Mike rooting for the Chiefs, myself pulling for the Eagles. The bet is 2 minutes submerged, not fully submerged, because I'm not putting my head under that. But we'll call it up to our, breast level in an ice tub, in a tub of ice water. Now, make of that what you will, but that's the challenge that we laid out before us. But I told somebody yesterday about that challenge, and with a look of honest concern in their eyes, they looked at me and said, the Chiefs or the Eagles really won it this year. I think you might actually be safe. But like with this like sincere look in her eyes, like, I think you're gonna be okay. I'm like, it's a 2 minute submerged in an ice bath. I'm sure I'll be fine. I'll be uncomfortable, but I'm sure I'll be fine.
I say 3 minutes.
No. We're first timers, dude. I don't want to push everything I saw online said 2 minutes is perfect for your first time. They said it's not too long, it's enough of a shock to the system, it's not gonna hurt your heart, it's not gonna necessarily hurt any of your internals. And that's kind of what we're worried about, because Mike wants to consult his physician before we do this.
Well, Mike seems just as sure that his the Chiefs are going to win, just as sure as everyone else thinks the Eagles are going to win.
Sure. I'm not sure one way or the other. I have watched literally nary a down of football this whole season, and I'm fine with that, because I'm not what you'd call a football fan necessarily. I don't really watch sports ball. But that being said, I'm a root for my colors. And I tend to root for a green-tinted team, the Green Bay Packers. So my mindset goes to root for a green-tinted team in the Philadelphia Eagles. While Mike roots for the Commanders, a generally red-tinted or burgundy-tinted team.
Right, he likes the Commanders.
So hint towards the red hues in the Chiefs. We're really just rooting for uniform colors at this point.
I'll have you know, blue is a shade of green.
Get out. Blue is not a shade of green. I don't care what you say. There's blue-green.
Or vice versa.
That's what? How does that work? I'm not much on the color spectrum. But blue is a shade of green?
Or green is a shade of blue.
Okay. I didn't know they could be interchangeable. That's real. So
they're very close together.
Okay.
They're neighbors.
But which
on the
one
spectrum.
which one is the base color? Is there one?
Blue.
Is blue? So blue's the base color.
Well, it depends on if you want to go the light spectrum or the paint
so
spectrum.
Then if you're talking about your base colors, blue, then green is a shade of blue, always universally, because the subset is going to be an affect of the larger thing that we're talking about. Yeah. So you use big words and it sounds like you know what you're talking about. 13 minutes after 9 o'clock. By the way, let me give you a rundown real quick. We got Don Weld and Steve Smith in a few days ago for the Friends of Bitter Lakes. We're going to replay that interview that Mike had with Don Weld and Steve Smith coming up here in just a few minutes. Sorry to mean to cut you off.
Also, I did have a caller that was wondering if Kalishi's had all beef Franks hot dogs.
It doesn't say anything about their hot dogs being all beef.
So heads up, there might be people expecting that. Kalishi's.
Well, I will say this. In all my time of doing remotes, of doing live broadcasts, I've had exactly one person, bring their own hot dogs to the remote. And it was because...
To make a point?
No. They were kosher. They were specifically, they ate kosher, so they brought a package of Hebrew National hot dogs to a remote so that Thomas could make them a Hebrew National hot dog.
Use the right pronouns.
Yeah, them. They classified as them, they. But here's the thing. They were cooked on the same grill as regular hot dogs.
Okay.
So does that make them lose their kosher status? I don't know how that works.
I don't know either. I don't know how.
I have a friend. I have a friend who lives up in New York City. he worked in the deli. He said he didn't know the rules, the rules of being kosher, and he tried to. He was going back in from lunch, and he had a Whopper with cheese in like a bag. And he was like carrying it in, and the guy met him at the door. Like one of the guys in the deli met him at the door and said, "What do you have in there?" He's like, "It's a Whopper with cheese." And he said the guy slapped it out of his hand because you can't have meat with cheese in a kosher establishment. That instantly makes it not kosher. So the guy slapped the bag out of his hand, said, "You can't bring that in here."
So, is the cheese not kosher?
No, it's just one of the rules of kosher is that you can't mix meat with cheese. They can't be consumed at the same time, or in the same meal.
So what makes a hot dog kosher?
Well, in that case, I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I believe like a dude has to come in and bless the cow.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and find out because I am genuinely curious. We do have an interview we have to get to here in a second, but we have some time. I'm going to find out. I hate this. My phone sends me all my texts all at the same time. But
okay, because I assumed it's like fake pig meat or something. Like
no, it's real. Although I think it's beef. How are Hebrew National hot dogs made? No. What is this? How are Hebrew National hot dogs kosher? Okay. Today, Hebrew National Hot Dogs carry the Triangle K kosher certification symbol on their packages, and the company's website proudly displays that. It says, in the early 2000s, Hebrew National switched from internal kosher certification to an external oversight group, Triangle K. In 2004, many in the conservative movement still found the kosher standards of the company insufficient. It says that a rabbi representing the movement to work with Triangle K to increase supervision standards. It doesn't actually say how they get their kosher standards, but they apparently go through an actual service that certifies things kosher. And it sounds like it's actually run by a rabbi.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well,
that's neat.
Maybe if it gets rid of factory farming, then maybe everything should be kosher.
I'm sure it does not. I'm 100% sure it does not, because I'm pretty sure the Jewish faith could care less about factory farming. But that being said, I think they just, at some point, like, rabbi has to come in and I don't know, sprinkles Jewiness all over the region, and I don't know exactly how it works.
Did you just say Jewiness?
Yeah, they have like Jew dust. They sprinkle over. I don't know. I'm not. And that's if that comes off as racist, I don't mean it to be. It's literally just naivete. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't. And yeah.
It's also couldn't care less.
It's probably not. Okay, fine, Granny Grammar. You're correcting my grammar. I forgot what I was even saying. 18 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's pause, play this here weather, and get you up to date on some info right here on Morning Without Mike Winners. Oh, you. Here we go. It's doing it to me again. Here's your weather.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
If you need a Kubota that works and plays hard, stop looking. You'll find everything you need at Amigo Machinery. When it comes to tough Kubota tractors, mowers, construction equipment, and utility vehicles, all with low-rate financing, Amigo Machinery is your one-stop shop. We are passionately committed to providing our customers with the highest quality products, most innovative solutions, and services delivered with integrity and professionalism. Stop by Amigo Machinery in Roswell or see us online at amigo-machinery.com.
And
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Friends of Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge, of course, Don Weld's back with us, and Steve Smith also this morning. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing today, other than you're about to go see a doctor here? So
yeah, beautiful day today.
I bet it's even more beautiful out at Bitter Lake right now.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely. So, of course, Don and Friends of Bitter Lake join us once a month here to kind of give us an update if there's events, activities, and things. But when there's no official events going on, we're talking just inviting and coming to see a part of it. Always looking for more volunteers and more members to be a part of Friends of Bitter Lake here and so forth. So we definitely want to, that's why we have you guys come out each month and invite folks out here. So, I know you have to go real quick, so I kind of want to give you the floor. There's a couple things you wanted to make sure we get out there, and so I kind of want to give that opportunity to you before we get you in trouble and get you charged with late fees and all that.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. I wanted to share with your audience this morning about the exciting life of observing birds in their natural habitat in our wonderful state of New Mexico, and especially in Chaves County and here in Roswell. We have areas that are established as what we call hotspots, and the reason they become hotspots because these are areas that have great habitat for birds, and then birds are attracted to the hotspots. And then we have a mechanism now that we didn't have 15 years ago. It's called ebird.org, and this is an electronic site where people that observe these birds can electronically list what their observations.
Oh, okay.
So that they can keep a historical and a record and a current record of what species they've seen.
Not to mention, I imagine, things we assumed or didn't assume about birds. You get enough people observing, you might find some new tendencies and habits of some of these species of bird.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you can't miss that, because one of the things you learn in your bird watching are characteristics of a bird, so that you can help you identify a bird. Okay. And so those marks are how big the bird is, what color it is, what color its legs are, what shape and color its bill is, are the things that help you identify a bird as in the listing of many of thousands of hundreds of different birds.
Interesting.
I'd like to tell you that eBird has listed in the state of New Mexico a little over 558 birds, which that is, when you compare that species count to the national bird count for North America, 558 out of 970 some odd birds in North America. This puts New Mexico as the 5th largest bird species count in the nation.
That's impressive, because I would have never guessed that, just based on our region, the desert, much of New Mexico. I mean, yeah, we got a little bit of everything in New Mexico, but it's a lot of desert, and I would just think not always the most hospitable place for a bird to call home, not to mention 558 different species of birds.
Right. Well, they call this state the land of enchantment, and it has many different type of habitats, mountains, high desert. So as a result, you have birds migrating across our state that has many different places to find a habitat that's suitable for them as they live here and as they're passing through New Mexico during those migration periods, which start in March and goes through May. And
the pilot flying J season starts around then, where the birds come in for rest and refuel and you head back onto their path there.
That's right. Now, I'd like to specifically mention here in Chaves County, where we've had a 348 species count just in our county, which is a huge count in comparison to the state count. But we have 2 hot spots here. Bitter Lake we're blessed with it out there as a National Wildlife Reserve, and then we have an inner city bird sanctuary called J. Kenneth Smith Bird Sanctuary, which is located at 401 North Sycamore in Roswell.
Okay.
Where therein there's been over 195 species identified just in the J. Kenneth Smith Bird Sanctuary.
That's great.
So
cool.
We have a listing that we keep of daily bird watching and annual bird watching of all the different birds that are seen in this J. Kenneth Smith Bird Sanctuary, as well as out at Bitter Lake.
Interesting.
And it's just amazing for people that have an interest or want to develop an interest. They're able to join up with other bird watchers of like-mindedness, like Patrick Collins is our #1 eBird lister in the Chaves County, and every Thursday morning at 7:30, he meets a group at J. Kenneth Smith Bird Sanctuary. Then he's out at Bitter Lake regularly, I think, on Thursdays or Wednesdays, doing a bird count of all the birds that are there in the Bitter Lake on that given day.
I imagine, too, they're probably pretty close on the studying of... Steve's got to go here, but thank you very much. That was really cool.
Thank you, Steve.
But I imagine that's also got to go with like when the migratory birds, when they're studying. Okay, we had these numbers come in last year; they're less or more this year, and that could sense a pattern of the species, but maybe wind or other variables too on why those numbers are different. So I imagine there's a lot of information they can glean from counting and just tracking the tracks and the lives of these birds.
Steve was mentioning that to me. If you go to ebird.org, you can look some of that information up and see in 2019, 20, 21, 22, you can see what birds came through at that time. Then you can compare that to what you're seeing now.
Interesting. I think
it's all there. It's all the data's there.
We had to leave Steve. I wonder how many years they've been collecting this data and things. I wonder if it's
years and years.
I imagine that the way to do it has gotten a little easier as technology is advanced.
Especially since we've got the internet up now, because the things like this eBird on the internet, it's there. You can look it up. And he showed me. And if you want to talk to the local group, that's this UFO of Roswell. United Field Ornithologists.
Yes, I'm glad you said it. I would have butchered.
I've been practicing ornithology.
Yeah, I would have chopped that all up. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not per se a birder myself. I love watching birds.
Sure. But you don't have the knowledge base that some of these individuals have.
No way. So he mentioned an app called Merlin.
Okay.
And I suppose you could look that up and get that app for your phone. It has a huge database of different bird species.
So if you're out walking the refuge or walking in the neighborhood...
and you can even tone in on the bird call.
Okay.
And it will tell you that bird is this...
So for more advanced or certain kids, it's got the Shazam aspect.
Yeah, there you go.
For people aren't familiar with that, it's like if you play a song on the radio and you play it, it'll tell you who the song and written by. This has a bird version of that. You hear the bird chirp and it's like, oh, that's a Bob White or that's a whatever. Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, these are a couple of little things that Steve has shared with me, and I love it. I don't have it now, but I'm going to start looking at it.
I think it's neat because it's just fun to kind of know your surroundings and know what's going on. And yes, some people, that's their job. This is what they do and this is their life.
Right.
But I think, as hobbyist enthusiasts, I mean, those are valuable, these folks that they just love birds and things. And they, what do they do when, retired free time? It's like, I study these birds and things. And I think it's great. You pick your passions and do it. And it's great to see these people are doing that. And to be honest, I imagine are real, really good stewards and workers for the future, survival and flourishment of these different breeds of birds and things like that.
Yeah, we need that. It's like all of our nature. We've got to keep it up. That's what Bitter Lake's all about.
That's exactly
is giving the wildlife an opportunity as they grow and
But it's also a place of learning. I imagine,
Oh, yeah. Well,
Bitter
for
Lake,
humans, yeah.
for Bitter Lake and places like it around the country. These are the places where we study and understand how animals and plant life and nature in general interacts and how it all works and why, Mother Nature is an amazing, amazing thing and far more smarter than anything we are. And it's just, and when you see it, its beauty and even in its scorn, it's a beautiful thing sometimes.
It is.
It's just, I would imagine when you see storms rolling in, sitting out on Bitter Lake out there watching them roll is probably a pretty beautiful sight to see.
It is.
See some of that.
Yep.
And of course the animals are all doing their thing. You can tell real quick what's coming. Just check the animals and their activity and behavior. They'll tell you real quick what the weather's going to do.
Yeah, they seem to know long before we know. Yeah. They've had 1 million years of history to get all that together.
Their sensors are more tuned into that than ours are. So
really makes it nice. Yeah.
But that's the cool thing about it. But I do want to get an opportunity because the Friends of Bitter Lake, which is the organization that you're part of, is the volunteer organization. We talk to Steve Alvarez all the time. He's kind of your park ranger of the place. He's the guy that he's the government paid employee that's there to run and conduct Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge. That's what he's there. Friends of Bitter Lake is all community members, citizens, people of the community that love and have a passion for Bitter Lake that want to help it. And so they, when they're not doing things like the Dragonfly Festival and stuff, they're doing conservation projects, they're doing various labor force projects, and not all labor force, but some of the physical, but also raising money for events, things for projects out there. If you go out to Bitter Lake and you go, which you should do, visit the store out there, and every time you purchase T-shirts and books and things like that, you're helping Friends of Bitter Lake, which is in turn putting that money back into projects and the resources out at Bitter Lake.
That's our whole purpose, is to provide funds and labor for certain projects. We're going to be in March. We're going to be doing our annual cleanup of the butterfly trail.
Okay.
We go through, we clean up all the weeds and garbage and junk and plant some butterfly plants.
To encourage the next batch to come in.
The butterflies to come in and lay their eggs and continue that species and to beautify it, to get it ready for summer.
If you ever go back in our annals and go back and look at some of our other previous conversations with Don and the Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge folks, we've had some great conversations about those butterflies and their the migratory, the monarchs, and the role that Bitter Lake plays in that, and just it's a little different than birds. The birds are going north to south, but the butterflies, it's like our generation is to go to point X and then prepare the next generation to get to the next, so it's much more than one single bird going from point A to point B. It's a generation of species moving from point A to point B, but a lifespan is just getting it from one section of point A to point B.
Isn't that amazing? The DNA of a butterfly tells it, okay, you were here, now you got to go down, your generation goes down to here. The next generation goes on, and they wind up in Mexico someplace. And then they start to travel back. It's generational.
I imagine from the outside looking, it's like why is that how they're set up? But I imagine if you do a little studying and things, it makes complete sense on why that they do and what they do that way and things. It's like for me, I'm thinking, I'm a butterfly. I'm like, hey, this place looks pretty nice. Let's just hang out here. I'm going to be alive a month or two anyway.
Sip a little nectar and lay a few eggs and keep on going.
Yeah, exactly. But that's Bitter Lake. That's
what it's for. Yep.
And I'm going to tell you that there are perks to being a friend of Bitter Lake. You get to experience, if you love the outdoors, love nature, and you love doing this stuff, you get to experience and see parts of Bitter Lake that, let's face it, the general public normally doesn't get access to, because it is a wildlife refuge and preserving. Maybe during some of the Dragonfly Festival, butterfly, the tours that happen there, you might get to see some parts of this, but there's other parts where they don't allow visitors to go to because we don't want the ecosystem to get messed with, or it's some other reason. Because and this is the other aspect. I know I'm jumping all over the place, but We talk about Bitter Lake Wildlife Refuge and the natural and the resources and the ecosystem and all that. It's also a study in human history as well with the Native Americans and the hunting trail. So there's just as much research about us going on out there as there is about wildlife and plant life. And that's
they
what
used to do buffalo hunting out on the east side of that cliff out
that
there.
was their they lure them in there and basically use it as a trap, so to speak.
Trap them in there so they could get a better shot at them. One thing, this Saturday we have our members meeting.
Okay.
Those Bitter Lake members, or Friends of Bitter Lake members, we're having our meeting at noon. Come out. We're gonna have a little buffet lunch. Bring a side dish. We'll provide the meat dish.
Okay.
Which this time it's gonna be chicken.
Nice.
But it all tastes like chicken. But so bring a little side dish. If you're not a member and you would like to join Friends of Bitter Lake, come on out.
Yeah.
For a single person, it's $10.
Okay.
And it goes up by family and such from there, $50 and so on. So it's not expensive, but you can come out, you can join right then and enjoy the potluck.
And meet all the other members.
And meet all the other members at that time. So remember, that's this Saturday at noon.
And we're supposed to be in the mid-50s by then. So, so a light jacket will probably get you by out there by
should be comfortable,
there, so. Yeah, and it doesn't look too windy, which will be a blessing too.
So remember that. Keep that on your list. And we're always looking for new members. We need new members. We need board members.
Sure.
We need a group that runs the whole thing.
And even if you're, you want to serve, but maybe I don't have the back to go do the service project stuff.
That's right.
There's lots of other venues that we can use your services that have nothing to do with you getting your hands dirty.
Yep. And you can talk to Steve Alvarez again. He's the community coordinator, and he's always looking for volunteers to help out around there. And they don't have to be, like you said, manual labor type things.
Gotcha.
We need people to be able to man the bookstore.
Gotcha.
To man that nature store.
So if you can just hang out a few hours a week or something there and volunteer your time there, that would be a great asset to the
our nature store manager right now, Jana Bush, is just overwhelmed. We do have some RVers who help out on Thursday, Friday, Saturday,
nice.
But we still
she
need...
wants her life too and not living out at the store all the time.
That's right. Yeah.
So if someone can split some shifts with her, she would be very happy.
That would really be appreciated. So,
yeah. And it's a lot of fun. Again, you get to be a part of it. And by the way, if you haven't been to the gift shop, there's a lot of great gift ideas and personal, it's not all, a lot of great learning resources, but if you're looking for, trinkets and remembrances of New Mexico in this area, and you've got people on your gift list for that, or you want keepsakes for yourself, you'll find all that out there too. So.
Birthday presents?
Yeah, they got everything.
Christmas presents,
toys, educational toys for the kids, to books for the parents. We got everything.
It's quite a deal. So keep that in mind.
And don't forget to bring your families out there and come see what. Now, again, as I remind you every time, it is not Bottomless Lake State Park. It is not a place to swim and boat and do all the fun things you do out at that park. This park is that wildlife refuge. If you want to come and walk the trails, hike, enjoy nature from a viewing perspective and not a person of getting actually in there, and because we don't want you off the trails. We're not going to let you come and do some of the boating and camping things that you would do out. But if you want to walk the trails, hike, scouts looking for projects and things, there's lots of stuff. If you're looking to meet requirements for some merit badges and things, there's a lot of great places for scouts to do that kind of thing. It's really, and then of course, if you want to see nature in action, you want to show your kids wildlife in action, and not even at a zoo where you're seeing these birds. This time of year, I imagine pretty soon here you start seeing birds coming from the south back this way.
They will.
If you're not, I mentioned we're a little early now, but give it a couple month or two here. I imagine they're going to start showing up.
Pretty much in March, all of the cranes that have been down in the Gulf area will start coming through, making their stops, and then everybody moving on up north.
So pick a Pick a day or two around that time to try to hang out. And unfortunately, just a tip that we've learned over the years, animals for some reason, they don't want to abide by your schedule.
No.
They kind of have their own schedule. So if you want to see the most activity, generally early or late.
Mornings.
Yeah, early mornings is when they're out hunting and doing their thing, so that's a good time. And then at night when they're doing, kind of during the day or during the night, they're kind of hunkered down doing their thing. But if you catch them at those time transitions, that's when a lot of their out and about activities take place.
Right there at the refuge.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So come, kind of see like you said, like here in a month or two, come and watch the cranes and the other migratory birds come and pick their camping spots for the while they rest up and get ready for their journey back north. So.
As they're flying through, they will stop for a day or two. They got to refuel.
That's why we joke about the pilot flying J. That's why.
They get their refueling, and then they move on north to the next spot.
I always wonder, do they have some kind of internal, all right, so the cranes, we know we got this section of the lake here, but sparrows or whatever is next, you guys get to hang. I mean, I wonder if they kind of have their own pecking order on where they park and where they hang out.
I think it's based on their needs.
Yeah, I'm wondering, how does that happen?
Yeah, the
is it
sparrows,
a
the smaller birds and such like to get in where the trees are.
Sure.
Because they can get up in those trees. They feel safer. And they can find the little bugs and things that they want to eat.
Gotcha.
And
so it's
the
just
seeds and such.
So it's just to them which more appealing ground.
Yeah.
The cranes are looking for a certain thing. They're probably looking for fish and things.
They are. They go out and they'll go out in the fields around here and eat the insects. Some of the leftover grain on the ground or something like that.
Okay.
They're not out there to damage any crops.
They don't.
They're not there for that.
They're not like the crows coming in and eating all the corn and all that.
That's right. Yeah. More than anything, they're helping because they're getting rid of some of the insects that may be
Think of it as God's pest inspectors or pest.
There you go, pest control.
Yeah, God's pest control. That's kind of what I see it.
Yeah, it works out that way.
Yeah. So
we got
New Mexico's got a fine quality selection of bugs for them to eat. So that's their. But here's the other battle too that we have. It's not just the animal life, but plant life out too. That's the other real struggle that the Bitter Lake friends and Steve and all the staff do is they really strive to keep all the plant life and vegetation within the Bitter Lake Refuge native to New Mexico. And there's a lot of foreign plants and things that are in our area that are now called home that aren't really native. And so there's kind of a constant battle of keeping that hardy vegetation from taking over the refuge because this vegetation, not native, is very hardy, and it'll crowd out less hardy but more indigenous plant life.
Most of our biggest concern in recent years has been the salt cedars. They drink a lot of water.
We don't have a lot of water. You should be in a different part.
Yeah. So they were planted for a purpose, but that purpose was ill-conceived.
Sure.
And
not all ideas are good ones sometimes.
That's right. So now we're trying to get rid of them. They did the same, and same thing happens over at Bosque del Apache. They've gotten rid of a lot of the salt cedar, and at Civieta. These are refuges on the other side of the mountain from us, along the Rio Grande area, and they've had that same problem. And they get their bird traffic through there too. So
the western route and the southern, eastern route.
You get all these different routes, and they funnel because you won't see them flying over high mountains.
The elevation, I imagine. The air's too thin, and I imagine they hit some issues. So they're trying to hit the valleys.
The little channels between those, those. And
just like you when you're driving on the interstate. Those interstates, sometimes they cut through the mountains, sometimes they go around the mountains. It's the same concept.
Same idea.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of this is cool, because you realize nature has so many patterns and things, and we hear the term creature of habit. You don't realize how much nature is a creature of habit. All of it's a creature of habit. But in the same token, you also see how we are in our ways, because we're big animals too, us humans. And so you see our tendencies, and you see, even some of our DNA coding, and it's right there in the same with these animals and some of the instinctual things. Why do humans do certain things? It's because that's how instinctually we were built.
That's right.
And it's no different with these birds and with these other animals and plant life for that matter too.
We have a little different DNA in that we train our youth. We train our next generation. We teach them. Birds, a lot of animals, not all, but a lot of animals, it's instinctive. It's passed down in their DNA.
Okay.
What to do and how to do it.
They got the recipe for the instructions just kind of built in there.
All the instructions are built in when they're born. But
kind of like breathing and things for us, where you know we don't teach your kids to breathe. They kind of come same with the hunting and stuff. For these animals, it's kind of it's part of the that's it. And it's in my opinion, God's plan, but others might think differently. It's like they knew when these animals were designed. Hey, when they come out first born or hatched or whatever, that they're going to need these tools to survive. And so they've kind of instilled, that's the amazing thing of Mother Nature is hey, they nailed this one and got it smart.
I know. Yeah. Well, that's how they survive. That's how the species is regenerated.
Yeah.
Because it learned through years and years, millions of years of doing those things, and that's how it's learned to survive.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So they pass that on in their DNA,
and that's why Bitter Lake's cool for everybody. If you want to come
and see it,
and anytime there's these special little talks or sessions, or all the time on weekends or something, there'll be a photographer or maybe the bird group or somebody. They might have an event out there, and they love to talk to people and tour and see some of the stuff, and they can kind of give you a more specialized tour of some of the things that are out there at Bitter Lake. So please by becoming a friend or just liking and follow Bitter Lake on Facebook and checking out the website, you can stay up to date on all the activities and things. So if there's you got family in town, it's hey, let's see what's going on at Bitter Lake. Maybe there's an event we can bring everybody out to, or the weather's just nice. It's a good weekend to walk and hike some of the trails and see some of the plant life and wildlife out there.
Yep.
And
come on out.
Bring good walking shoes and lots of water. That's our two recommendations.
That's right. Even during the winter, bring your water because you'll dehydrate.
Yeah, and sunscreen too, because a lot of sun, even when it's cold and not
cloudy and overcast can be some of the worst.
Yeah, you get burnt real good.
You do. So keep that all in mind.
Good deal.
Yeah.
Is there anything we missed, Don? Did we get it all? Friendsofbitterlake.org is the website to learn more. Again, friendsofbitterlake.org. Go there. And then what's the store hours if you want to go out and do a little shopping at the Bitter Lake store?
We're now open from Monday through Saturday, and we're open from 9 to 5.
Okay. So come on out 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday. And again, if you'd like to volunteer, give some people
out and see Steve.
Give some people a break at the store there so they can go and live their lives too.
Yep. Steve will be more than happy to look for new volunteers.
Yeah, talk to Steve. Steve's your kind of he's your source for he's the guy that runs the show out there, and
I call him community interface.
There you go.
So
in my head, I just picture the Yogi Bear and Ranger, Park Ranger.
There you go.
That's when I think of Steve, I think of the Park Ranger.
Steve
from
would make
Bear.
a good Yogi Bear.
I think so. He's smarter than the average bear. He is smarter than the average bear.
Yes, he is. There you go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Don, as always, and we'll see you next time, if not sooner.
Yep.
So, good
next
deal.
month, and we'll talk more about Butterfly Trail.
And tell Steve thank you for didn't mean to mess him up with his time a little bit, but maybe we can get him back too. I'm sure he's got a lot more to tell us.
I would like to have him come back again when we can do that. Get the whole.
He can pardon the joke, but he can give us the bird.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Sounds good.
Thank you, Todd. It is 9:50.
Carlsbad man who was shot in a confrontation with sheriff's deputies after officers reported seeing the man swinging a sledgehammer continues recovering. The ordeal in the 2000 block of Mora Street on Sunday, where 29-year-old Christopher Bell was arrested. His injuries determined to be non-life-threatening, but police did not say whether he was actually shot by the officer's gunfire. Authorities said Bell has outstanding warrants and had barricaded himself inside the home. A short standoff ensued before the officers breached the front door and tasered the man. A Florida businessman and social media personality has purchased the 1962 Lockheed Jetstar that once belonged to Elvis Presley. James Webb says he plans to move the airplane out of Roswell to Florida. Webb operates a YouTube channel called Jimmy's World. His business focuses on rehabilitating old, often abandoned airplanes, even making some of them airworthy again. Elvis's former airplane has been parked at the Roswell Air Center for more than 20 years, but now it will be dismantled and moved by mid-February, Webb said. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
This is Jason Espinoza with today's Capitol Report. Since 1917, the New Mexico Farm and Livestock Bureau has served as the voice of agriculture in New Mexico. As a member-driven organization with 30-plus county farm bureaus across New Mexico, they have developed legislative priorities designed to strengthen agriculture and rural New Mexico. Caitlin Spradley, the organization's Director of Communications, is helping educate state lawmakers about legislation impacting agriculture.
For New Mexico Farm and Livestock Bureau, we have 10 just very general legislative priorities that we are looking forward to representing our members on behalf of. Those legislative priorities include things like agricultural education, energy, labor, land use, natural resources and environment, rural resiliency, water, among other things. All of these topics are really relevant to our producers and their day-to-day lives on the farm and ranch, and already we're seeing some bills related to these topics. All of these legislative priorities were approved by our state board members. We are proud to be here in Santa Fe representing the grassroots policies set forth by our farmer and rancher members across the state of New Mexico.
According to the New Mexico Department of Agriculture, the total value of agriculture sector output from New Mexico totaled $3.49 billion in 2021. For the New Mexico News Network, I'm Jason Espinoza.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason. Wall Street opened higher before turning mixed at mid-morning. The market reacting to the Federal Reserve scaling back the size of its interest rate hikes. The Nasdaq opened sharply higher this morning. Facebook's parent company has booked another quarter of declining revenue.
Meta says it earned $4.65 billion in the final 3 months of 2022. That's down 55% from $10.29 billion a year earlier. Revenue fell 4% to $32.17 billion from $33.67 billion. Analysts were expecting $31.55 billion.
That's correspondent Jeremy House reporting. The Bank of England has raised interest rates by 0.5 percentage point. The bank trying to rein in galloping inflation in the UK. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Rich Thomason.
Starting off with a few clouds today, but we'll have sunshine through the afternoon and still a little on the cool side. We'll stay in the mid-50s for today's high. Low 20s and clear for the overnight hours, and then warming up a little bit on Friday to the upper 50s, and we get sunshine. A few clouds on Friday night. Saturday looks good and warming up again, mid-60s and a mix of sun and clouds, and then upper 60s and sunny on Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Turn up your radio. Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
Why wasn't the same accommodation and the same courtesy afforded to Donald Trump, and why the sirens blaring, and why the guns were drawn, and why everybody was kicked out of the house at Mar-a-Lago? And then we're asking for the security cameras to even be turned off. Thank God they never turned them off. Anyway, the same thing, frankly, goes for Hunter Biden's Malibu beach house. I have no doubt the FBI has to eventually get around to searching every one of Hunter Biden's crash pads. Not until Biden's plumbers have had a chance to maybe extract any problematic documents. Now, why do I feel confident in predicting that Biden would do this? Because it's simple. Joe Biden has fundamentally shown himself to be a completely dishonest man.
Check out the Sean Hannity Radio Show later today, right here.
Hey, this year you can finally get started on that home makeover that you deserve. Now you can upgrade to sleek new window coverings thanks to our friends at Blinds.com. Right now, save up to 40% off site-wide on premium custom window treatments. And if you need help in your selection, well, talk to a Blinds.com professional design expert. Shop Blinds.com right now and save up to 40% off site-wide, up to 40% off at Blinds.com.
Rules and restrictions may apply.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This is the owner of Trustmark Roofing, and nothing makes us happier than telling our customers no. As in, no pricing games. We give you a guaranteed price and then we stand by it. No surprises, no gotchas. No obscurity. We don't just tell you what's wrong with your roof. We record our inspections and show you. No lemons. We install premium roofing materials from top brands like Owens Corning. No shortcuts. We're in the 2% of roofers with the Owens Corning Preferred Contractor Certificate for our local area. This means we offer precision installation and the longest warranties. Want a beautiful new roof that's built to last? Choose Trustmark Roofing, the roofer that loves to tell our customers no. For an estimate, call us at 575-755-ROOF or find us online at trustmarkroofpros.com.
Trustmark Roofing, we put people first.
So you think drinking alcohol can't hurt you? It'll mess you up big time. Say adios to large chunks of your brain. Major damage is already being done. Other parts of your body are getting wrecked too. Forget about sports, forget about school, forget about doing much of anything. Underage drinking freaks out your body, messes up your life.
Sponsored by the NMDOT.
The octopus and the squid both have 3 hearts. That's why they eat so many Tums. Here's Mike Winters.
Get it? Because of the heartburn. Hey, at 4 minutes away from 10 o'clock, I finally found the liners, just in case y'all were curious. Yes, that's right. He found the liners. Hey, if you missed any portion of today's program, you can always go back and catch every single bit of it over on our Facebook page. It's already posted up there for your listening pleasure. So head over there and you can check that out for yourself over there at our Facebook page. Just head to Facebook, search for 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. You can also hear the show in its entirety, even though it was sort of a clip show over at KSVPTV.com. That's the website, Sean. There you can catch our show in its entirety. You know, it occurred to me, literally just as I was saying you can catch our show, and it was a clip show today. Roy, on Groundhog Day, we managed to pull off a show of replays. I mean, there is a little bit of poetic irony in that.
You're right.
You got to admire it. Hey, I'm glad you came in here because we need to talk. I think at this point now, it's reached intervention status, and we need to discuss it on the radio. You know exactly what I'm going to say, don't you?
You always have to intervene.
Here's the thing. We've been over this several times. The bathroom on this floor has a light that is attached to the fan. When you turn the light off, you turn the fan off, and the bathroom starts smelling extra poopy. There's only you and me on the floor, right? It's you, me, and Modesto. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be you. Did you turn the light off, man?
No, not today.
Are you punking me? I feel like you're punking me. I gave you the out, so you said no. Okay, somebody's punking me then, because it blows my mind. In the years that I've worked in this building, people have never turned that light off, and now it just happened. Like it's like a phenomenon.
That being said, the fan has not gone out yet,
No,
so I don't believe that it will.
Okay, it hasn't gone out, but it has. There's been several occasions where when you turn the light back on, the fan doesn't start, at least not right away. It takes it a few minutes to kind of warm up or do whatever fans do to start its day or to start its thing. Mm-hmm. But we don't pay the bill, dude. Here's my opinion. There are only a few things in this world that I'm afforded as like perks of this business. One of them is access to a free toilet and free toilet paper at my work. Mm-hmm. That is the right that is afforded me as an employee of Pecos Valley Broadcasting, and the right to a stink-free bathroom. And that light and that fan are vital to those things happening. So, but no, I'm not calling you out or anything. It's fine. I'm mostly just I walked in the bathroom and the light was off. I'm like, I'm gonna turn this into a bit. That's one thing you're going to learn if you work in this business for long enough. Every single aspect of your life, you'd be like, oh, that sucks. Oh, I can use this. I can turn this into a bit. That pretty much has become the majority of my life. We got to go. We are just a few seconds away. Clay, Travis, and Buck Sexton on their way into your radios next hour. Big thanks to everybody for joining us for this morning without Mike Winters. Mike should be back here in the captain's chair tomorrow morning, God willing. So rooting for you, Mike. Feel better. Get better. You're listening to 106.5 KEND, Roswell, New Mexico. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A massive ice, sleet, and snow lingering across much of the southern U.S. as thousands in Texas endure freezing temperatures today with no power. National Weather Service forecaster Bob Oravec says at least there is some good news on the way.
There's definitely relief in sight for parts of the southern plains that have been receiving a lot of ice and sleet over the past few days. The area of precipitation over North Texas right now should be moving eastward, so by this afternoon, it looks like the freezing rain will have come to an end.
The website tracking a utility called Power Outage reports that more than 390,000 customers were without power early today. Former President Trump told the Salem radio network that he declassified those sensitive documents that were recovered by the FBI at his home in Florida.
Just so you know, very nice. I didn't do anything wrong. President of the United States, I had the power to declassify. They didn't.